Hello again, everyone, and welcome to another edition of my cousin's basement with your co-host, me being Tim Patrick, and my co-host, as always, the Nickelback to me being Metallica, Randu.
What's up,
going?
Tim?
Not much, sir. How are you?
Pretty good. Can't believe
good.
it's our
And the 24, buddy.
Yeah, I know. It's weird to say that's
It's
our December
bittersweet.
18th, I think it's today.
Yeah.
It just doesn't seem like it's December 18th. Every time
Turn around, it's another month.
yeah. I mean, I feel like last time we did our podcast around Halloween, I was like, yeah, before we know it, we'll be doing our year-end wrap-up, and here we are. It's year-end wrap-up.
2 weeks before the end of the year.
2 weeks before the end of the year, and it seems like Christmas and just these days just fly by, even though we really haven't had any Christmassy weather. We've had some cold days.
We had some snowy days there, but it just didn't stick around.
No, yeah, we had like 2 days of snow,
Yeah.
and then after that, it's just kind of
Disappeared.
But that's Missouri weather, though. I mean, it seems like the days of snowy weather in December is kind of moved to January, February, and sometimes even March.
Yep.
We get it a little bit, right?
Right.
It's just weird. But yeah, it's just Christmas this year. It's kind of felt a little bit bland, you know.
It's better than last year. I'll tell you last year, because remember last year it was 65, and on Halloween it was like 30.
That's true.
So,
that's
it's
true.
a big difference.
We've had some 65 days too, and that's annoying because it's.
I mean, it's great because you could go out do shit, but then at the same time, it's like this isn't Christmas.
It's not Christmas, and also it feels. It feels like it's fall, but which I'm not complaining. I like the weather, but it's like everyone's so sick right now because of the up and down with the weather and stuff. I think that's been something to do something. We've had so much rain.
Yeah.
When I got sick, I don't know if I said this in the last podcast or not, but I can't remember. But for like 4 or 5 weeks, I had like a terrible cough. I was hawking up stuff, blah blah blah. You know, Hawktuin. And the doctor told me that she said because there was so much rain in our area, it was bringing out like mold and like certain things, and it was getting people really sick, and like they have some weird viral infection going around that lasted anywhere from 4 to 6 weeks.
Yeah.
After I got a steroid, I felt much better.
Jen had that.
Mm-hmm.
That's exactly what Jen had. Something very similar to that. She had the cough more than anything.
Mm-hmm.
She was sick for a good couple weeks.
Yeah, dude, it was gross, and it's like it's not like I wasn't taking medication or doing anything to help myself out. It was just progressively getting worse. So.
Right.
Weird.
Well, but glad you had it then, not now. Think about that.
That's true.
Now you got the Christmas coming up, and you don't want to be all blah.
I don't want to be sick around the holidays.
Right.
Yeah, so.
You don't want to go ziplining and not be happy.
Yeah, ziplining.
Shaka Bra.
What is that? South Park, right?
Yeah. I shouldn't have gone ziplining. I just watched that before you got here.
Shaka Bra.
Yeah.
All the guys up there, they're all like really into it. They're like, okay, we're like, they thought they're the last zip line, and they got like.
We're crossing the creek now. Has anybody got any questions?
Yeah.
Yeah. I do.
It's funny because I've been on many zip lines. Never been on one with those intense people like that who are really into it, but I've been on ones where you think it's over with and you got like 15 more to go, and you're like, dude, I just want to get off this. Not like now. It was
fun the first time.
It was fun for the first time. And every time I go on a zip line, they're cool. But man, I just don't trust them. I always feel like they're gonna snap and break.
I think I feel my fat ass going up on things like that.
Have you ever done a zip line?
I did when I was little. They weren't as extensive as they are nowadays.
Mm-hmm.
It's just like down someone's property, get a couple hundred yards or something like that. But that's it.
Mm-hmm.
Nothing biggie.
I went on one in Mexico, which is probably my coolest one. I went on with my wife.
You know what they call it, zip line in Mexico?
Zip line?
Yeah, zip line.
Yeah. We went on one. The last one you went through a waterfall. So you went down and you hit. They told us to be wet to wear whatever. So like it wasn't a huge one or nothing, but you went like through it and you landed in a little bit of water, and then you got out of it and whatever.
Casa Bonita.
And then you got Casa Bonita. Then you got to have like lunch, and then like they would take you on like a side by side ride or like a.
You could double diet do.
Yeah, you can go on another one. You could go like through caves and shit with it. It was cool.
Yeah.
But after that zipline experience, I was like, yeah, I don't really care. Like this isn't my forte. Like
I'm on a swing going through woods. What to do? Kind of, yeah.
It's like one of those things like everyone's experienced. I'm afraid of heights, so it's like I'm not going bungee jumping and doing other things. But like, so I did it, and I was like, hey, this is cool, but it's not my thing. I'm gonna be like, hey, I can't wait to go bungee jump, but zip line through all these different places. But
right.
And now everything's so expensive. They're like, come zip line now for $70, per person. It's like, no, I'm good.
I'm gonna risk my life and be around people I don't like for $70.
Yeah, so let's go ahead and jump into our topic.
Year end, man. This is a whole one big topic, and how we wrap it up.
So I brought some good topics, or just some things
You
about.
say that.
Yeah, I always have them.
I know. So you do.
The year-end wrap of 2024. So what I'm going to say about that is like it's going to be just one giant topic. This one, it's
Right.
going to be like what happened in 2024 that was memorable, like that you remember, pop culture wise, or just things that happened in society. And it's like okay, so I just listed a bunch of shit on here,
Yeah.
and we'll go through it.
I'm
So
with you.
they say one of the biggest pop culture things this year was people being TikTok creators. Now we know TikTok's been around for a while, whatever.
Cocksuckers. Call them cocksuckers.
Cocksuckers. And I saw some guy the other day. He's like, someone said they saw a video of me being on TikTok. Like, what the fuck is this? There's some dad. He's called like the Raging Italian on Instagram, and he put him on TikTok, and
Nice.
their kids make money off him because all he does is cuss.
Wow.
Which I'm assuming. I'm
a
assuming he's part of the gag now, like he
Yeah,
knows. But
more
at first,
likely.
I think it was organic, and now it's turned. He's part of the gag.
Like
So
Don Vito kind of thing.
exactly, yeah, Don Vito type of thing.
Well, see, for me, when I heard that one of the top things of this year was AI.
Mm-hmm.
That blew up like a motherfucker.
Yeah, I mean, definitely AI was the biggest thing because that's all we talked about at our work, being a technology company where I work at. It's literally all they talked about 24/7, like gag, vomit, reflex all the time. It's like, cool, dude. Like, AI's cool. It's here. We know it's going to be a thing, but it's like, it really has taken over. Like, I didn't know this for the longest time, but there's a company of guys that created AI girls that are, they're super good looking or whatever, and they just make accounts on Instagram, TikTok, and much stuff, mostly Instagram. And people are too stupid to realize it's AI because they look pretty, it looks real, and they engage with it and do whatever. And these people are just farming money off engagements, off Instagram, doing ads and everything else. So
It doesn't surprise me because you got those guys who like the Chinese anime girls and sleep with pillows shaped like them and what have you. So that doesn't surprise me.
They call them the
anymore.
weeboos.
Yeah, the weeboos, waifus, whatever.
Yeah,
call them.
waifus or whatever. Yeah.
Yeah, I that doesn't surprise me.
Most of those
at all.
guys are, and I hate to say it, but it's a stereotype, but it's like those guys are really called the neckbeards for a reason. Like, these are guys that just don't do anything else,
Play D&D in their basement.
Play D&D in their basement, watch a lot of anime, and they sleep with these pillows. And
Shaped like girls.
yeah,
like,
I'm not
shit.
into that whole thing, but apparently it's a huge thing.
It's a huge. It's kind of like the brownies kind of thing, but it's with high, not high and high. I don't know what the word for it is. Whatever anime shit that it's animation.
Yeah, I still haven't gotten to TikTok. I don't know how many times I've talked about this, but it's like my sister sends me TikToks and stuff. And I'm like, she's like, hey, you should look at this. And most of the time, it's like something for hockey or something funny.
Yeah, that's fine.
And I'm like, I can't watch this. She's like, just download TikTok. I'm like, no, fuck you. I'm
exactly.
not downloading it. I don't want it on my phone. Don't want Chinese spyware. I always tell that to her. I was like, and I just don't want anything else to consume my life.
Right.
Exactly.
Exactly.
I already found out more and more as I've gotten older that I spend more time on my phone than I want to. And like I said, like we talked about last year, like one of our things for 2024, like something you want to do, it's like spend less time on the phone. I've tried and I do.
It's hard.
It's really hard. I spend less time on social medias. I can tell you that right now. Like, I'm not on Twitter as much, and I'm not on Instagram as much. Now at nighttime, I find myself getting on it more. I do post the occasional video of my son playing hockey and to showcase stuff with like family and friends or whatever.
Yeah.
But for the most part, I'm not engaging with people on Facebook. I'm not talking on there or doing anything. I don't even go in there and just doom scroll anymore. Because it's so dumb.
Stupid.
Yeah,
it's old.
It's old.
It's just ran its course.
Yeah, I mean, like if I was a young kid, I'd be more engaged with it because I'm seeing what my friends are doing and everything
Right.
else. But it's like
You can't see them constantly.
I don't care what people are doing. Like I just don't care.
Oh, you pooped today? Okay, and
No, it's just
I got a
it's
job.
not that. There's so many people that are attention-seeking whores.
Yeah.
We can call them that. Men and women.
and
That they literally just post the same regurgitated bullshit every single day of like their kids or whatever else going on, which is fine. You want to post things about your kids or whatever, and that's what it's there to do. But at the same time, it's like, man, another post from this person about this or whatever, and it's like I'm sure people say the same thing about me about hockey, but you know what? It comes to a point where. It comes to a point where I'm not doing it every day. Like, if I was doing it every day, I'd be one of those people. I'm not doing it every day. Yeah. So that's the difference. I think there's some people that get so wrapped up, but maybe that's their vice or hobby or whatever. But to me, I can't stand it. That's why I'm like, I'm just so over social media stuff. We talked about it last year, but I'm just glad I'm not doing it as much. I'm not on my phone as much, doing it crap.
Good.
Like, there's days where I won't look at my phone for maybe 5 or 6 hours.
Yeah.
Good. I won't respond. The only thing I respond to most of the time is text messages, and that's it. Like, social media wise.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So
I stay off Facebook this past whole weekend.
mm-hmm.
You know, it felt good. Not to worry about anything.
It does feel good. It does feel like you get more accomplished, and even if you're not being engaged in it, you're doing something else. You know, I'd rather nap and do something else than sit there and just look at Facebook all day, worrying about what everybody else is doing.
Yeah.
I have found myself. I will say this though: if I do get on Facebook, I get lost on Marketplace for like an hour. I'll just look at stuff because like things I want to buy or things I'd never thought about having. Sometimes I find good things. Most of the time I don't. Most of it's junk. But there is sometimes occasional like good things. Sometimes you send me some good shit. My mom sends me some good stuff. But for the most part, I try to stay off it as much as possible.
Smart.
Yeah.
You gotta do that sometimes.
Another big one of 2024 besides the TikTok creator thing, which it's mostly kids. I mean, let's just be real. It's not mostly an adult thing, but I would say there is adults that probably do it. Is inflation is still huge. It's like it's like one of the main topics and culture things everywhere in the world. So it's gotten. I don't think it's gotten worse. It's kind of just stayed the same. It hasn't really went up or down. I don't know if it's gonna get better. I hope it gets better. We talked about this last year. I hope inflation gets better because God, it's ruined everything.
Right. Some things have gone down. Some things have gone up.
Mm-hmm. People are like, oh, gas went down. It's like, not really. It goes down like by 15, 20 cents, and it goes back up by 15, 20 cents.
Right.
They play the gotcha during the holidays.
Your gas will go down 15, 20 cents, but then like your eggs will go up $2.
Yeah, but the thing with the gas that fluctuates, people don't realize it's like they go up during low and high parts of traffic with people like for holidays or what people are doing. So it's like they know.
Because they know people need gas.
Yeah, they know the trends and what's going on. So
yeah, they're not stupid.
Yeah, I mean, the biggest one for me for inflation is if food went down, I think a lot of people that would just fix a lot of things. Food and gas. Stress, you take those two things and fix those, most people will be pretty happy. Clothes and everything else, whatever. It's
clothes is always gonna be expensive, but like stuff like bills and stuff too, though. Like,
well, clothes can always go down. They always go up and down. Even like designer clothes or anything else, you notice like they always trend up. It's like dumb people pay overpriced stuff. They have money, and other people are like, no, I'm not gonna buy that. When they find a good deal, they have deals and they go down and.
Right.
I've never worried about the clothes thing. It's now that I've been an adult, it's mostly food.
Exactly.
And then we got shrinkflation that went on this year a lot. I mean, I noticed just during Halloween because of all the candy bars and shit that we've done this year. I went through my kids' candy like most responsible adults do and eat it for them. And some of the food that we got this year, like from Reese's peanut butter cups and stuff, I'm like,
Smarties. Dude, Smarties really shrank.
Smart. I mean, it's everything, dude. I was just like, what is going on? I don't even need a lot of Smarties or nothing, but I just noticed it. It's like this was not what I've noticed, and it's not just them; it's everything.
Yeah.
I mean, even people are saying like they've noticed at McDonald's and other places like the cheeseburgers have shrank.
Yeah.
I don't know if that's true or not. I don't fucking measure cheeseburgers, but
still,
it looks like things. I mean, fries.
Yeah.
Soda size. I mean, have you ever seen that thing where the guy compares the 3 different sizes of small, medium, and larges? At some point?
Apparently it's all the same.
It's all the same. It's all the same, but if you take out the ice, it depends how much ice you put in. Some guys like they kind of debunked it and said yes, they probably put the same amount of fluid, but it's the amount of ice they put in your drink to make it better or whatever too. But
that's why no matter where I go, if I'm drinking a drink right now, right then and there, I'm gonna get no ice. If I get it somewhere else, I'm gonna get light ice because I know I've been in. That business before, so I know how it is.
They don't care. They just hit the button and get all the ice in there, and they fill it up, and they say, "Here you go."
Yeah, and it costs them 8 cents to fill up your $3 your $250 soda.
That is one thing that people say is the biggest margin where they make money is drinks.
Gas stations make for drinks and fast food restaurants.
Yeah, I'm just gonna.
It costs them 8 cents.
I'm gonna show some life hack that probably most people do know, but I just do it anyway. I may be that asshole, and maybe karma will catch up to me one day. Hopefully not, but. I go to the gas station next to Mid Rivers called Mobile on the Run. That's used to where I go to school or whatever. And when I come home from hockey, it's a ritual of mine since I've been a kid, and I started with Lincoln too or whatever. Is after we're done, I always get a big Sprite. So when I go there, I just fill it up and I just tell them it's water, and they give it to me for free.
There you go.
Because I mean, who wants to pay 50 cents for a soda or $1, right?
Right.
And I just say I got 2 waters, and they'll say you're good to go. Not every time, but majority of the time, they're like, yeah, you're good to go.
It's not like you're getting like a big 32-ounce big ass fucking thing of water.
No, and it's not like I'm getting huge. I usually get small sodas or something like that, and just something to sip on because I want the sugar, and it feels good after sweating and doing stuff, and it's just been who I am. So afterwards, but it's like. My dad's like, you get that every time? I was like, yeah. He's like, yeah, you've been that since a kid. I was like, yeah, I just one day, I was like, one day I was thinking, I was like, I just had 2 waters and they gave it to me for free. I'm like, I'm just going to do this every time instead of paying 50 cents. Like, I'm not pulling my credit card out for 50 cents.
Right.
I don't care. And who carries money on him anymore?
Right.
So life hack, do that.
Life hack, Don't get arrested. We don't take our ideas.
Yeah. Do you have any anything for 2024 that you can remember that's huge? I mean, I got a bunch written down. I just want to see if you got any.
There like the solar eclipse was huge.
The solar eclipse, I had that down.
Yeah.
That was a cool one this year.
Yeah. I thought
the everyone ran out to get the glasses last minute or whatever. A lot of people kept them. I mean, Laura's mom, my wife's mom, she had glasses from like, how many years ago we had solar eclipse. And she's like, "Hey, we got these glasses." I was like, "Cool." We all sat in the driveway and looked up, and the kids thought it was the coolest thing ever. By the time I got out there, I was like, "Yeah, I'm on lunch." I saw it for a minute and then went away. I was like, "Cool, bye."
Yeah.
Like some people are like, "Let's go on rooftops and sit." And it's like, like people are throwing solar parties and doing stuff. And it's like, man, people would do anything to make some fucking money.
Right.
Yeah.
I remember being a kid, and a little trick you would do is get a piece of paper and cut a hole in the middle of it, about the size of maybe a dime, if that, and then hold it over the sun in like the reflection or whatever, reflection with the sunrise, sun rays, whatever, and you could see the eclipse. You could see like a hole, like a dark hole, and then a bright around it. Like you could see the moon, kind of thing. Like
that's cool.
Yeah, it's like wow, science. Yeah. And
Bill Nye.
Stuff like that was cool.
You learned that from Bill Nye, the science guy.
No, actually, I've known it for years. Couldn't tell you where I got it.
Did you know that Bill Nye is not really like a huge scientist?
Yeah,
like he's just a fucking TV person.
Yeah.
Like he does know some stuff. Like he is educated, but not like the way he like portrayed himself on TV.
Exactly. I mean, that's how those TV guys are.
Yeah. I'm gonna do one with politics. Yeah. I mean,
the election we had. Yeah.
It just had to do it. It's like the election was it had to be the biggest thing this year. It was the most talked about thing for the last fucking couple of years.
I actually googled it. The most talked about thing of the year is artificial intelligence.
Artificial intelligence.
Yeah.
That makes sense too. But, I mean,
election was up there too.
Trump being shot at twice or trying to get killed twice was huge. Like that was like they got talked about for like nonstop, regurgitated all day long.
Right.
Biden resigning during the middle of election was like the first time it's ever happened. So that was huge. Like, I don't care, what side of the aisle you're on, but like someone just resigning a month before the election was kind of fucking weird.
That's like quitting a baseball game the first pitch.
Yeah. And obviously then Trump winning this year was just like a huge thing. And then it's like, honestly, it's like I kind of a relief sigh, a relief. It's just like, I'm glad it's over with. Like, I'm just so sick of talking about it and hearing about it on news, on TV, on video games. I mean, whatever it was, like somebody had to bring it up. And it's like, God damn, just shut the fuck up. Like, can we talk about something else?
You won. Okay.
Not you just won. Just talking about politics in general. Like everything we had to do had to bleed into like the election and who was right. It's like even on social media. It's like half the time that's why I get off social media because I was so sick of listening to people talk about it like they knew something better, or they had the right advice, or they're going to change people's minds. And it's like, just shut up, please. Right. I had a big one. Mr. Beast. You know who Mr. Beast is?
Yeah.
So Mr. Beast had the pedo claims against him, the pedophile claims with his friend Chris Tyson this year.
About that, yeah.
The guy who turned trans.
Yeah.
And I don't care if anybody's listening to this and gets offended. I don't give a shit. But to me, I find it weird that a guy that's been around and he has a wife all of a sudden decides, I'm gonna be a woman. I'm gonna try to be a woman, and then has a kid, and now his kid thinks his dad is a woman and his mom is a woman. So I just think it's weird. And then after that happened, I understand like Mr. Beast is his best friend or whatever, one of his best friends, and they're supporting each other. But at the same time, it's like you didn't look into your friend and know like he was doing all this weird shit, and to come to find out he was like he was offering people like you saying like if you give me sexual services, I'll get you more like primetime fame with Mr. Beast and doing all this sort of stuff, or like give him a job and like sexual favors and all sorts of stuff. It's like it's coming out and like he got fired, and now like people are trying to like bury it under the rug, and it's like the dude's fucked up. He's got mental health issues. It's like what'd you expect? Like like the stuff's gonna happen. Like not everybody. It comes. I think always comes full circle. Like people like Ellen DeGeneres and other people. Like people's always got skeletons and demons. And it's like I'm not saying Mr. Beast isn't a good guy. He seems a good person, but obviously there's always bad things that happen behind the scenes that just nobody knows about, and eventually things are gonna get leaked out. So. I
heard a good. There's an old comedian I heard. I forgot. It's nobody popular. He's actually literally just started being a comedian. He's like 70-something years old.
Mm-hmm.
He had this perfect joke for trans. I'm going to say this, and this is the only trans thing I'm going to say about it.
Okay.
All right. The guy says, "Okay, I'm 76 years old. Life expectancy for a man is now 78 years old. Life expectancy for a woman, 83.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to go trans."
Yeah.
It's like, okay.
That's good. That's good. That's good. I had a joke about that too, but I mean, it's dark humor.
We should do a dark humor podcast.
We should do one, a dark humor with some jokes and just funny shit. I always won't bring it up. I won't say it. That's when we'll get our podcast taken down. Something that was big this year, and I noticed this is something that's been trending for a while, but I think it's more prevalent now that just because adults are more aware of what's going on in the world or whatever. The internet phenomenons of just like people who get popular, but they're only internet popular. Like people don't know them personally. Like there's like this guy, and someone made a perfect example, and I've listened to a couple of his videos. His name is like Cody Go or Cody Joe or Low or something like that. I don't remember his fucking name. And he like does like reaction videos or like reviews on like movies or TV shows or just like things on pop culture wise. And I've listened to him, and he just like, you know, he'll talk about something. He'll like break a lot of things down like in snippets or like long form talking about shit. And people are like, no one would know this fucking guy outside YouTube. Like if you're a kid and you watch it, people probably know who he is. But if you saw this guy walking around public, no one would ever know who he is. And it's like, well, that's kind of where pop cultures went. Like Hollywood in the red carpet in days of Jack Nicholson walking it and like Jim Carrey and all these people would be out there. People would sit there and be glued to the TV watching.
Right.
Nobody cares about that anymore. Nobody cares about celebrities. Those are the new celebrities. The internet phenomenon. People that get on there. The Twitch streamers. Right. The YouTube people.
Logan Paul.
Yeah, you know, Logan Paul or whatever, or Jake Paul and stuff. Those are the influencers, you want to call them. Those are the people who are the main thing. And that, like, I read it again, like this year. They said like one of the most important jobs that people want nowadays, or kids talk about, is they want to be influencer or some type of internet fame person. Yeah. Same thing for
a YouTube star or whatever.
Our YouTube star. That's a new. That's the same thing for 2024.
Yeah.
For like big one with kids.
Yeah.
And just YouTube and pop culture in general. Like I noticed, like they say, like every kid at once signs up for like a YouTube channel.
Yeah.
And makes one. Most people just quit, never goes anywhere. Most of it's just like a fun thing that we would do when like we're a kid. Like what did we do as a kid? We all made like our own things up and did our own clubs and shit. Yeah. It's kind of like the new club for kids to do something. Like join my YouTube channel, subscribe to it, watch my weird videos and my shit. You know.
Is that us?
Sure. For doing a podcast or whatever, but it's like, you know, like the days of Jackass and stuff, people just doing shit for fun, recording for themselves and their friends, like those days are long gone, you know? Yeah. I wish I did see some. I mean, I hope more pranksters come along because
I still remember a lot of the pranks that you guys used to do too. That's what's funny about it.
We have some good ones. I don't know where that video is at. I hope my mom still has that on one of her cassette tapes somewhere, because if it is, that'd be gold to watch nowadays and watch all the shit that we did. But I would definitely put that on YouTube and show it to all people. Like, this is how dumb me and my friends were, you know, when I was this age.
This is before we were drinking.
Yeah, this was before we were drinking. So yeah, I thought that was weird. Like, you know, Mr. Beast is such a like an icon. He's the most popular person in the world when it comes to YouTube. Number one YouTuber. Everybody knows his name. If you don't, you live in a fucking.
Or you know of him.
And if you don't, and you've never heard of him, then you must.
You need to check him out. Yeah.
Like, no, you must not live in our society. Like, it's like talk about like someone saying like they don't know who Trump is or something, or Biden or something. It's like you hear Mr. Beast, everyone kind of knows, especially if you have children. Even if you don't have children, I knew who he was before he had children.
Yeah,
you know. Good. So yeah, that's a big one. Now this was something I didn't know, but it kind of makes sense that this is actually coming to become a thing. Is they're calling it a trend? It's called the Netflix killers.
Yeah.
Have you heard of that?
Yeah, people Netflix would pick up shows and they like cancel them within.
Well, not that they're calling it something different. They're calling about the free Netflix type things like a Tubi.
Yeah.
What's another one that we like?
Tubi, not Freevee. Freevee's one of them actually, because that's the IMDb one. Then you got
what's the one that we used to watch? You can watch like South Park, and they have a bunch of free internet, shows or TV stuff on.
Oh fuck! Was it? I can't think of the name of it now.
I can't either. Either way, all
weird.
these free streaming services are coming along because they have so many ads in it. But people, no.
Cody was another one. Well, anyway, go ahead.
Yeah, no, that's fine. What's it called? They've come along and they're trying to. They're saying they're trying to take down the conglomerate, which is Netflix, because people are sick of paying $15 a month to stream when you can actually just watch things for free as long as you have internet.
All right.
Companies are paying these people to allow them to do this or whatever, and they're making money off ads and doing all their stuff. And it's like they kind of got a glitch. So it's going back to the old school model way of, hey, we have cable TV, but we have the ads with it, just like cable TV does. And it's like people don't mind it, if
watching
they don't have
22 minutes of videos or ads because we did it anyway.
Right, because we grew up and we're used to it. Now the younger generation, not so much, but it might be something they could get adapted to because people can't afford it. So it's like, and I noticed this too, like Samsung TVs. I have like 2 new in my house, and They come built in with their own Samsung streaming service, like Live TV. So you can turn it on, and like some channels are dedicated to certain things. Like there's a horror channel, and there's like a '90s channel, and like one like for what like I'm not joking, for 6 months straight, all they play was Dawson's Creek.
Oh God.
You know, like just shit like that is stuff. Like or there's a channel where all they play is those repo videos or whatever. Like, you know, a lot of it's probably videos that are, you know, they can get at a certain thing, but they have ones like for Simpsons and like other things. And I've turned them on and it's like, oh, this is pretty cool. Like I didn't know I could get this for free. And like if I didn't have the options that I have now with my dad's DirecTV and other stuff, this is probably what I would watch because I don't have internet to watch stuff. Like people don't want to pay for news. People don't want to pay for stuff. And in this day and age,
or have like only 2 news channels because, you know, 3 of them don't.
Netflix just needs to keep what they used to do. $10 a month, $9.99 a month, and you can share it amongst friends. You can have it at so many households, and that's it. Like, you know, cap it at like 5 TVs or 10 TVs within a household.
Like everybody else does like that.
Yeah, so instead of trying to like, well, we're gonna make you pay more. Yeah. Or you can pay $20 a month and have unlimited TVs, unlimited stuff.
See, dude, I don't want to pay $10 a month for 500 movies I'm not gonna fucking watch.
Yeah.
I want to pick. I want to like more on demand, where I can pick what I want, what genre I want, or whatever, and not go through like 500 things of Dawson's
Amazon
Creek
should do that because
Gilmore Girls before I can get to, you know, Michael Myers.
Amazon kind of has it, but they want you to pay for the movies.
Yeah, exactly.
If they would actually pay, someone said best, they're like, if you would pay for a subscription service to Prime and said you get all of our catalog of movies, boom, bam, how much do you think people would pay for that?
I'd spend $10, $15 a month.
10 or 15 bucks, maybe $20 a month, and say I can watch a library of movies and shows at any time. It's kind of like what we do on
Their selection's so much bigger.
Yeah, I mean, why do you think people like me that pay or used to pay, but not anymore? I told the guy I'm not paying anymore. It lets me still have access to. It's like a Plex account where you can download everything illegally and have it to watch for free. Because people don't want to keep paying these service companies just the same way they don't want to pay cable companies or anything else. Now, internet we get. Yeah. But I thought that was cool. Like I didn't know it was called the Netflix because there's like a trio of these things that are trying to take down Netflix.
Okay. Didn't know that.
Now is that actually going to happen or this would happen? I don't think so, but I think it's.
But nobody thought Netflix would take over Blockbuster.
Well, so. I think Netflix doing the Jake Paul thing and everybody get their subscriptions ramped up, and then they've done like a couple other like events. They're trying to like do like UFC fights and other stuff. Great idea, but also. When they found out the bandwidth, they can't handle that much traffic and bandwidth, and like it's not like an HBO like with pay-per-views, like they know what they're doing.
Right.
It pissed a lot of people off.
Yeah, they could have like Netflix 1 or Netflix 2, different Netflix streaming service. They'd make it easier for themselves, but
that's what someone else said too. Like you should have different packages. Like basic Netflix 1 gets you everything we used to have. Netflix 2 might get some more premium stuff that people have been asking for.
Netflix Plus.
Netflix Plus.
Plus Max.
Plus Max, plus Skinamax. Remember Skinamax?
Skinamax.
Yeah.
Bullet time.
Yeah. Skinamax was the no-note stuff you could watch when you were a kid.
No, it wasn't really a no-no. Well, it was kind of no-no.
But it's like
softcore stuff.
Yeah, softcore stuff. It looked like the girl was giving the guy a blowjob, and she wasn't doing anything. She was just making out with her hand.
It was mostly just so you could see bush or like tits.
I think it was mostly just to see tits with bad acting.
And fake sex.
Yeah, fake sex. Which you can get that on just
anywhere,
anywhere, like anywhere now. Like that used to be just like the channel where
you get that on Deadpool. Shit.
This is probably one of the biggest ones of the year.
Tyson. Oh, that's what I was gonna bring up. Was the Tyson Paul fight?
Well, we can bring that up. Tyson Paul fight was huge. One of the probably the most talked about sporting event.
It was a big letdown for a lot of people, but still,
Joe Rogan broke it down perfect because obviously he knows Tyson. He knows fighting. He's been studying his whole life, and everyone likes he doesn't know anything. It's like the dude's a fucking commentator. Like he's been in Brazilian jiu-jitsu and all this stuff for his entire life. I would say he's not an expert fighter. But he's an expert analyst when it comes down to watching and studying that shit. Like, you know, he's been around the block. He's been doing it for 30, 40 years.
Right.
He even said Tyson was holding back, which was obvious. He said if he really wanted to, if he unloaded on him, he probably would have killed Jake Paul. But also at the same time, Jake Paul, probably if he unloaded on him, probably could have killed him too. Yeah. So it was a money grab. And everybody knew that. And everybody going into it pretty much suspected that. And anybody who betted on Tyson was a dummy. I thought the same thing. I wouldn't have betted on that fight at all. Yeah. If anything, people said the best bet was like it was going to go all the rounds. Like nobody was getting knocked out.
Right, exactly.
Like he wasn't going to humiliate Tyson, and Tyson didn't want to humiliate him. Because if you watch some of the videos of Tyson punching, people are like, if you got hit by one of those, like he didn't throw those punches at all, you're dying. Like that Jake Paul's dying if he gets hit by one of those.
That's one thing I was going to say. The build up to it was really fucking ridiculous. Mm-hmm. They showed Tyson back in the day, Tyson back in the 90s when he bit the dude's ear and all this other shit from Tyson in the 90s. Okay, that was 1990s.
Yeah.
This is now. He's 56 years old or something like that.
Yeah.
You know, that's him show videos of him working out and
they
doing
did,
shit
but they
now.
did show videos of him working out.
They did show some, but they were like comparing him to his old self.
Yeah.
If you looked at me when I was in the '90s, I was way fucking different.
Yep.
You know, I was 300-400 pounds less and stuff like that, and you were 10 years old and shit, whatever. You know, just you can't go back and have the old ways compared to the newer ways.
Tyson Prime, and I'll say it too because I believe it after watching a bunch of videos, is Tyson in his prime was probably the best boxer, pound for pound boxer ever.
Yeah.
Like people say Ali and all this other stuff. I think Tyson was the best.
Rocky Marciano.
Yeah, I mean, people said it best. Like when Tyson went anywhere, he was the biggest celebrity in the world. That guy couldn't go anywhere. There'd be fucking 300 people in the street would crowd him.
Everybody knows who he is.
Everybody knows who he is. Yeah, there's a story he talked about. Like he said one time when he came up when he was the champ, he came out in the middle of the street and he said like 400 people just swarmed him. He said people were running out of grocery stores to come say hi to him and say what's going on. Like that's how much influence he had in the world. This is
we got Cripple Fight and Mike Tyson.
Yeah. So it's just cool.
I just thought I'd bring it up because that was pretty popular.
No, that was a good one. Diddy. Obviously, we brought it up for Halloween.
Fucking hey. Why?
Diddy did it. I just love South Park for the whole Diddy did it. Now it's coming back as relevant. But yeah, like when they finally reveal all the shit that's going down with Diddy and some stuff they're saying with Jay-Z now or whatever and all the sex scandals and like age like girl stuff, I believe it. I mean, it's Hollywood. These people get so much power and stuff and they get sick of having probably sex with like the celebrity stars. They have the power over them. They have to fuck whatever they want. They want to fuck kids and do stuff like.
If they have the money, they know they have the power. They can do it. They'll do it.
When you have power and control, like they were saying like a lot of these people's like fantasies and urges and desires get way and like out of control.
Yes.
And I wouldn't put it past them if they were banging 16, 17-year-old girls and doing stuff, right? And these girls that are probably there were like infatuated with these guys because they're celebrities.
Diddy, dude.
And then 20 years later or 10 years later, they're like, I got taken advantage. Yeah. Whatever happened to me. Like,
that was wrong.
Not saying that people didn't do it at the time too. They probably gave them drugs and took advantage of them anyway.
Yeah, you got to think when they were younger, they didn't know any better. Now they're like, wait a minute, that doesn't,
There's a reason why there's an age limit. There's a reason why all this stuff happens. Even 18 is still really sus for anybody who's like, oh, I'm 30, I'm gonna date an 18-year-old or whatever. Dude, it's like cool. If you're 21 or 24 or something, and you're dating 18, that's a little bit maybe still be on the edge or whatever because you're still immature. But like someone's at 30. 18 or whatever else, it's they have to be in their 20s at least. Like you're weird.
Yeah, I mean, come on.
They're still high school kids.
You have to think when we were in school. Say like if I was in 4th grade and I had a crush on a senior, I would look at it like, okay, I'm 4th grade, she's 12th grade. That's an 8-year difference. Ew.
Yeah.
That's bad.
Yes.
If I was in 9th grade, 10th grade, okay, because we're closer in years, but still it looks bad on her because she's older than I'm not. Than me.
Someone did make a funny joke about it. It was like if you're a 25-year-old man and you're dating like a 40-year-old woman, people are like, "Oh, you go, girl!" Like they're like happy like the girl's dating younger or whatever.
Right.
But if the guy does it and he's 25,
wrong.
they're like, "You're fucking sick," like Leonardo DiCaprio.
Yeah.
It's like, it's not really sick. It's because he wants youth. He likes young youth, just like any woman would. Right. Yeah. And I told my friend, I've told you this before, maybe not or not, but like my claim to fame was when I was like 20 or 21. I banged this hot 34-year-old, single mom, when I was working.
This is on record now, so remember that.
Yeah, I know it's on record. It doesn't matter. When I was younger or whatever, and I thought it was the coolest thing ever. And it happened a couple times, and then she was like, "Hey, what do you feel about kids and like date?" And I'm like, "Nah, I'm good."
Yeah,
I was like, I'm too young, and like I wasn't mature. Yeah. I told enough for that, but I was like, the sex was great, and that's what all that mattered.
I don't want to be the same high school as my son.
Sure, and it was like it was unexpected too. Like it wasn't something I was expecting to happen, but it's like, oh, it's something cool. Like I always got to date someone older, and it's like, is it cool as it was? It's like, yeah, it was cooler because she was more experienced, whatever was going on. But at the same time, I was a little immature. I was probably being used, and I didn't care.
Like except for his mom.
Like except for his mom, exactly. But at the same time, like you put in that consensus, like what's going on. It's like, yeah, it's weird, dude. Like younger guys, older guys shouldn't be date like girls in that age, and same thing with women. But they always just going. It's like it's the old South Park joke. Like happens. Like they did what? Nice. Right? Like the 18-year-old kid slept with a 25-year-old hot teacher. And I will say this, and I'm putting on the record because I don't care anybody. This isn't gross. This is just a great observation. And probably Tim knows where I'm going with this. But the day of hot teachers when we were kids looked like somebody's dad or mom with like hair with like a cigarette in their mouth, like when we were teachers when we were at school. Now these teachers in school, these girls are coming to school.
They're so fucking hot.
Like some of these teachers are like supermodel hot. Yeah. Like obviously not really supermodel hot, but the kids, they're 18 and seeing these kids. It's like, of course they're horn dogs. Like kids are in prime, like testosterone and going through puberty. Like of course they want to bang everything that has 2 eyes and a hole, and they're that young. But You always see these teachers getting like slaps on the hand, but if that was a male teacher, dude, they'd be all over CNN and the news,
exactly.
and whatever.
Yeah.
And all you hear about is like people are like, "Nice, good job, dude." Like, why didn't you keep your mouth shut, idiot? Like that's all you hear from like all the dudes.
My little brother.
But you gotta get it. It's like these kids that are young. It's like they want to tell their friends, like they want to be
Yeah.
popular. Like I got to bang the hot teacher, and and they come to find out the teacher's like banging like 6 kids in school, and like
Exactly.
but they still got it somehow.
And for some reason, they keep it on their phones.
Yeah, and they keep it in their
They take
phones.
pictures and shit.
It's like, oh, well, it's on Snapchat, so I can get you. It's like, guess what? Snapchat keeps records, and and the police have access to it. Retard. People are just dumb. They just don't understand tech at all. Yeah. I something funny, and I'll go off the tech topic real quick. It's 2024, and some mom, and I'm not gonna put her on blast or say her name or anything, but something on Facebook I read the other day, and I just wanted to comment so bad, but I just didn't say anything because I just don't want to be that guy. So mom's like, I bought my son a Switch, and it took me like 3 hours to set it up, and my husband wasn't here to help me do whatever. And she's like, it was the hardest thing. She's like, I just don't get tech in this day and age. And I'm like, you're a person who grew up during tech. So, like, I'm not expecting you to be super techy. Most women aren't, and I just know that, and that's not being sexist. That's just being a realist, living in the tech world. But in the day of YouTube, all you have to do is YouTube something in 5 seconds. Somebody like, here's how you set up a Switch account. Here's how you do this. Here's how you get access to it. Like,
people don't use Google and YouTube because they're fucking stupid.
I just couldn't believe that she's a mom that grew up in this age. And I'm just like, dude, and people are like, don't worry, the sensei will outgrow the master. Like saying like your kid will be teaching you stuff on Switch because they'll be playing on all the time. It's like, okay, but some of the stuff's just like common sense. Like all you have to do is read. It shows you like read this and do this. Like it
shows you.
It shows you stuff. It's like there's days of like manuals and stuff still on there. Like with the day of power YouTube, you can pretty much figure out anything. You can figure out how to take apart a house and put it back together almost.
Car engines and shit.
Yeah, I mean they have everything on there. So I just thought that was really weird. Okay, going back on topic though. I thought this was a funny one this year. Justin Timberlake being arrested. I remember on TV just watching, and he had come out and publicly speak in front of it, and people like he's been going to press. Like I saw him singing one night on I guess it was on like TMZ or something. Just during the day, I was eating lunch and watching the news, and I was like, I'll turn on TMZ because I used to watch when I was a kid because I used to care.
Right.
I think TMZ is a dying thing in my opinion, but maybe not.
Anyway.
It was showing him like dancing and doing stuff, and like he looked like he was on drugs, like sweating to death, and just like didn't look like himself or whatever. And then like a month later, he gets pulled over drinking and driving. And he's like, "Yeah, I should have been drinking and driving." It's like, dude, you're a millionaire. Like, just call a fucking Uber.
Call your driver.
Call your driver. Call a parent. Call anybody. It's like
anybody will give you a driver.
And that's kind of what like the cop was saying is like, it's like, why are you driving, dude? He's like, well, I was just like down the street. And it's like down the street or not, but why don't you just call somebody?
Yeah.
Yeah, he was going through some shit, but I just thought that was funny. Like, and then he had to come out in the news and publicly apologize. Apologize for doing this.
Sorry,
it's like nobody drinks and drives. And it's like, yeah, you're an idiot for drinking and driving for one. Two,
you got caught.
Yeah, you got caught. But it's like, I mean, he's like, I'm going to rehab and doing all this other stuff. And it's like, okay, cool, that's cool. But it's like, but nobody really cares. At the end of the day, those days of people caring what celebrities do, nobody cares.
Yeah.
No one's a martyr, no one's a saint. Everybody knows everybody has demons and stuff. And it's like, I'm sure being a celebrity takes a toll on people's mental health.
Oh yeah, but still, it's like, dude, you're still a human being. You're stupid. You make mistakes.
Yeah, I mean, there could be worse things you've done. At least you didn't kill anybody or do anything. But at the same time, it's like you'll get out of it. You'll be a better person.
You'll be fine.
Yeah,
it's okay.
You're supposed to make these mistakes when you're a teenager, not when you're 40 years old or 50 years old.
Millions of dollars.
Yeah, but that doesn't solve anything. I'm gonna say this again because we already talked about it. I'm gonna say it. When I say this year.
Say one.
So what am I gonna say this year that was popular that everyone talked about for a long time and then died?
What was the other one I had?
Hawk Tuah.
Oh yeah.
It was just a big thing. It was 15 minutes. It was there's always every year there's a 15-minute fame thing.
Yeah.
Always, right? And she was the biggest 15-minute fame thing this year.
Probably.
Did I send you the one with Arnold?
Yes.
That was good, right?
That's fucking hilarious. I said it to like 50 people.
I thought it was good. It's like, Hawk Tuah, spit on that thing.
You're tired of hearing about
that's what AI is good about, right?
Yeah.
Oh, so bringing up AI, we'll talk about it real quick. Because my dad sent me this the other day, and I thought this was funny, but it's also awful. But so it's going back and forth. Some guy invented AI where if you have someone who's stripped down, like in a bikini, you can see them naked. Like the AI will reveal exactly what they look like naked.
Wow.
So this guy invented this, and like people are paying a bunch of money to have this AI creator tool, and the people are going around taking pictures of people in bikinis and celebrities and everybody else to find out who they can see naked. Wow. Well, what do you think what actually happened?
really.
I mean,
my imagination.
well, one kid was going around school doing it to girls. All the guys wanted to see naked, which sounds like a typical boy thing to do or whatever.
Yeah.
You got a hand slap on the hand. So also, then they found out a lot of pedophiles were doing it, with kids, and it's like, oh fuck. Yeah. So now the guys locked it down to like you have to be an adult, like it has to be blah blah. So like there's more restrictions to it first, but it's like you open up this door and let these people do this. So like people are like, yeah, my naked 18-year-old daughter's on the internet, and people are doing it on purpose, like like trying to slut shame people, or just like people are trying to do, like girls were doing to other girls too. So like how it's gonna go. Like catty ass girls are like fuck this girl and put her naked on the internet,
Right. Yeah.
I thought it was funny though. It's like that's the tool you
man.
built, dude, for getting people naked.
Right.
Whatever.
It only takes one asshole to ruin it for everybody else.
Well, I mean, what do you think was going to happen? It's like the people that are saying like, oh, it's illegal to change your gender and your age, your whatever. I'm going to change my age. It's like, what do you think was happening? These sickos are going to change themselves to 16 so they can be in locker rooms with girls or boys or whatever else. It's like, okay, maybe you guys should have thought this through a little bit better, right?
Right.
I'm just saying stuff, so I thought that was funny. Yeah, AI thing's always, but the Hawk 2 thing, I'm so glad it's done. I am so glad I don't see that dumb bitch everywhere on the internet. Like, I mean, she's probably, like I said, she's probably a good person.
She's got her own podcast. She had fucking Gerald Ford, the ex-president, on her podcast.
I know you told me that, unless that last pass, during our Halloween one, but I'm so over seeing anything to do with her. Like, what's gonna be the 15-minute fame next year? What was last year's 15 minutes of fame? Do you remember?
I don't remember. There's just so many fucking things that happen all the day. Every month there's something new. That's the problem. I think it was the cop that fucked all her coworkers.
Oh, that's what it was. That was a good one. That was a good meme, or whatever. Yeah. The white girl that fucked all the cops and acted like she played the victim.
Yeah, it's just like, dude, seriously, come on.
Oh, there are so many good jokes last year. That one.
It's just
the black guy with the huge dong that's on your couch or whatever, or in the bed or whatever. They put like a meme with her on there or whatever. And it's like just that was. I think that was a 15 minutes of fame too. But she didn't want that. I think people actually offered her like.
That's what it is. She wanted. They asked her to do videos and stuff like that.
Porn and some stuff like that. Yeah.
Yeah, she didn't want to do it.
Yeah.
I don't blame her. She wanted to get out of the limelight because she fucked up.
Well, she did fuck up. It's like the girl at the WWE that blew everybody. You told me about.
Yeah, Missy Hyatt.
What's your next one?
That was gonna be my next one. Stop being mentioning her. I had a bunch of basic questions for 2023.
Well, no, your opinion ones. Let's keep going through the pop culture
keep
stuff.
Going through the trends. Yeah. What was the number here?
What was the number one movie this year?
I was going to ask you, what do you think the number one movie was?
Well, in my opinion, it's pretty obvious. It's Deadpool and Wolverine.
Nope, that was number two.
That was number two?
That was number two.
Maybe it was.
I'll give you.
Is it a Disney movie?
Yes.
It's the number two movie that came out this year.
Inside Out.
Inside Out too.
That was number one.
I figure it was something. It could have been close to that too. How many? Probably made billions of dollars too.
Let's see where it's at. This was as of a couple weeks ago. It grossed over $652 million.
Worldwide or just in America?
America.
Yeah, well,
America,
probably
North America and Canada. So,
probably worldwide, it probably made over $1 billion.
Yeah, U.S. and Canada.
Okay, well,
Deadpool Wolverine was at 636.
Yeah, I mean, I think one good thing that was pop culture wise was movies are trending in the right direction. I think that was something you brought up last year. Like, what's something you want to see happen from this year to the next year was better movies and better stuff going on, and I think that did happen. Now, we didn't get great movies throughout the year, but we got better movies and better things that were just literally just carbon copies of everything.
Right.
I thought the cool thing was we talked about it before during Halloween and before is the popcorn buckets came back.
Yes.
So that was cool. Dune 2, it was the most popular popcorn bucket because of what happened with the mouth and everything.
Jesus Christ.
That was great. As soon as you saw the bucket, that's what everybody thought was.
Duh. I mean, people have minds like that.
But also, it did look like the sandworm too. So it did portray it pretty well, or whatever. So Dune 2 was good this year. I like that movie. I know you. I don't know if you.
I'm not into it. I don't want to watch it.
Yeah, well,
the first one.
The first one and the second one were good. Alien Romulus was great this year. One of the probably the best sci-fi movie I've seen in years.
Yeah.
It was fucking great.
I need to get on that one.
Beetlejuice was good.
Yeah, I was gonna say that was another one of the top ones.
Besides that, I don't think there was anything else out that was really big this year that stood out this year. And if it was, maybe it was a rom-com or something else. A lot of movies have been in probably Netflix or Amazon lit movies that have been out this year that I just don't really care about.
Yeah, like Twisters was here. I'll do.
Twisters was it was just a carbon copy of Twister. It wasn't good, man. I'm sorry. I didn't like it.
Carbon copy of Twisters.
Yeah,
I did not like it.
Mm-hmm.
We'll see if you can know if I have the top 500 movies of North America, but we'll just do the top 10. What do you think is in the top 10. Okay, you said Inside Out, we said Deadpool and Wolverine, and then you said Beetlejuice and Twisters. Beetlejuice was 6, Twisters was 8. What else do you think was on there?
Probably another kid movie. So
there's at least one more. There's one more Disney movie.
Another Disney movie, was it The Lion King?
Just came out.
It just came out.
Yeah.
Is it that like that? Like the little animal movie, whatever it's called. Like not. I can't remember what it's called. Just say what it is. I know it is. Momoa. Well, yeah, I said, Momoa was out. Yeah.
It just came out, and it's already grossed over $300 million.
Well, that should be like we talked about before. That's an obvious thing to make money. It's a moneymaker. If kids want to see it, the parents come, and everybody has to pay for it, and they're sold out. And then it's just, and then people want to see it more than once or twice. And if Disney would just stay to their fucking roots, dude, they would just pile in money making good stuff.
Wicked was number 3.
I mean,
that's only been out for a few weeks.
That movie looks fucking atrocious. I'm sorry.
Because it's a musical. Musicals that come into movies, it's going to blow the fuck up, and then they're going to blow it out of proportion.
I know.
It's just gonna, it's going to burn out.
People like Wicked because it's musical and live theater too. So people like to see it too.
Saying,
it was already grounded in live theater. So all those dorks that like to go see that stuff, and I've seen some good live theater stuff, but not much.
Right.
My biggest one is obviously the Book of Mormon, which was the greatest one I've ever seen, because it's racist and funny, and dark humor. So another movie this year, I'd have to say. I mean, I don't know. Those are the movies on top of my head. The top 5 movies I named were probably the only movies I actually knew that were really good this year that I remember.
Also had...
Was Dune on there?
Yes, Dune was on there, but it was way low. It was a lot lower.
Mm-hmm. Well, yeah, because you have to know the story. It's based off the books.
I'm sorry, Dune was 7. I'm sorry.
Okay.
Dune was number 7. Number 9 was Kung Fu Panda. 10 was Godzilla vs. Kong, which I totally forgot it came out, this year.
Gee, I forgot that too. I had that in Plex. I remember you asked me, you and Jen wanted to watch it.
And the only one we were missing is Despicable Me 4 came out.
That's the movie I was thinking was Despicable Me. It's always these cartoon movies with kids. There's always top movie. Last year I'm sure Super Mario Brothers and Barbie were like the top 2. I think I remember saying or something. Oppenheimer.
No, it's Barbenheimer. The Barbie Oppenheimer
mix
duo.
Yeah. Barbenheimer.
Yeah, that's movie wise. That was like number 1. So I don't care about the music part because it's never going to be musical like.
Yeah,
but
other popular things. Anything else that was popular in 2024? I mean, there's tons of shit.
Yeah, we had the Olympics this year, which was a big thing.
Mm-hmm. Olympics, that was on there.
Of course, I didn't watch it because I never do anymore because it's just the same shit.
I'm watching the next one because I like the Winter Olympics because of hockey.
Oh yeah,
and I like watching snowboarding, and I like watching. The Winter Olympics is actually exciting because you don't get to see that stuff as much.
Right, exactly.
And, I don't care about who can run. I don't care about running.
Right.
And I don't care about shot puts, and I don't care about some of the stuff. Now, there's some beautiful women I like to watch that do some of the stuff.
Volleyball, come on, yeah.
The volleyball, and some of the girls that are running or whatever. Some of the girls that do the high jump. I mean, they're athletic, and their bodies are unbelievable. But that's all they do. That's all they work on, right?
Yeah.
I mean, it's cool watching your country get represented, but the Olympics are kind of swimming. It's not my cup. But my mother-in-law. She's glued to it and loves it. There's just some people that love them. That's what they grew up on. The Olympics was a huge thing. Now, Winter Olympics, I'm more into, and I'm going to be more into because they're bringing back the pros playing in the Olympics for hockey, which is cool because they took them out for a while. So I think that will hype things up again.
You just want to see figure skating. We know you do.
Yeah, I like the figure skaters too.
And the synchronized
swimming,
gymnastics,
and I like curling. I like the guys that go in there and curling, just playing fucking
bobsled.
The bobsleds. Curling's just sled. Yeah, it's just what's it called? Shuffleboard for younger people.
Yeah. Basically.
All the old people that can't do it or whatever.
Right.
And they get into that shit, don't they?
Oh, dude, shit. I've seen some of that shit that gets brutal.
It does get brutal.
It's not a contact sport, but it's like, goddamn, dude.
One thing I would like to see, and I don't care if anybody this is just dumb or not, because I'm more hip with the young culture. Is I've been saying it for years. They need to put esports into the Olympics. Yeah. You want to get younger generations of people into stuff, get internet sports into it.
It's hard to do it. I'm on both sides with that because, for one, half the people in the Olympics are younger kids anyway, but not as young as some of the exports.
I'm not saying put fucking 30 teams into it, right?
Well, yeah,
I'm saying put the teams that represent your country. Put an American team in, a Canadian team, and all that, whatever, and play their game, and they win a gold Olympic, and a silver and a bronze. And it doesn't have. It could be top 10 teams or countries that qualify for whatever, but it may not be on the main screen at all times. But like Twitch and some others that are streaming channels, it's just more attention to the Olympics, right?
I know what you're saying. Like I said,
and people want to represent their country. And some of those games, from like some of the games in China and stuff, they get like 5 times the amount the like NBA finals or like the Blues or the Stanley Cup finals getting stuff because of the amount of people that are into that kind of stuff, the younger generation and older generation. So that might just be something they try. I mean, they got extreme sports in there now. Like people doing bobsleds and backflips, and they do like certain things that just they haven't done before, which is cool. Like last year, they took away stuff and added stuff to the games or whatever. Some of it worked, most of it didn't, whatever. But I think it's good for them to try out different things. Not everything's a sport, though, right? I don't call online video games a sport per se, but it does take skill and do stuff. Yeah. Like there's people that would be into it. So, so Olympics was a good one. I totally forgot to even really put that in, but I do remember that. The war in Ukraine. I mean, it's probably one of the biggest talked about things this year. Besides that, I mean, I didn't want to really bring it up, but I just thought about it. It's like I will be so glad if Trump gets in office and just ends it, so we don't have to fucking talk about it anymore. Right. That and give out billions of dollars to people that should probably get in America first, in my opinion. So, sue me, kill me, I don't care. Come after me, bro. The big one that was really big, what was the biggest relationship this year? You already know what it is.
Do I?
Yeah, because it was a big, huge costume. Celebrities. Who was the biggest couple this year? Everybody talked about. They still talk about now. Come on,
I know. I just can't think of it.
Give you a hint?
Yeah.
KC football.
Oh, God, yeah. Tay and Kelsey.
Yeah, they're still talking about it. We watched it. We were watching Kansas City last week. I went to a party the other week, whatever, Christmas party I got invited to for Taylor's aunt. We're good friends with her aunt, so anybody knows me, knows my wife is friends with her aunt, whatever, and she tells me stuff that's going on, and she had, like, behind the scenes, with them or whatever, and probably, I'm sure most people know this, like, she said they're, like, actually, like, really down to earth. They don't want to be, they want privacy with themselves, but they don't get privacy anywhere, and blah, 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 and she said, to be honest with you, she told her that she's like, I just want to go there and support my boyfriend and watch him play. Just like, and that's it. Like, I'm not there to get my name out there or do anything. Like, Kansas City gave her a private suite. She didn't have to even pay for it because they know that she's coming in. It's good publicity for the NFL and everything else. So she know how it goes. They're a celebrity couple, but at the same time, she's like, they just want a regular relationship like everybody else does.
Well,
and it's like,
they're not going to because
you're not going to, right? It's like, so every Swiftie and every person in the world wants to watch, and now every Swiftie loves Travis Kelce because you're her boyfriend, right? It just goes with the territory, right? Yeah. She's the most popular person in the world for a fucking reason.
Now all these little girls are going to be trying to watch football, and it's not working.
I want a boyfriend like Travis Kelce.
Right? She makes more than he does, so she's going to be supporting his ass when he retires.
That's great. He got a sugar mama. I'd be doing cash cow and in down that too.
Yeah, but I wouldn't do that cow.
Why not?
Tay, I don't know, man. She's just something about her. Just if we break up, she's gonna write an album about me. I don't want that kind of shit.
Yeah, right. $1 Million said if you went upstairs, she was naked and bent over the bed and said, "Tim, fuck me," you'd say, "Oh, okay." Yeah, you give in. Maybe. Yeah, you're a liar. Anybody in your position that's not gay would say, "Okay."
Yeah, even the gay guys would do it.
Probably gay. Yeah, because gay guys are in love with her too. So it's the same thing if vice versa. If your wife hated Travis Kelce, but if he was upstairs ready to go,
I'd say get him.
Yeah, get him.
Go get him, Tiger.
Get that.
Pat on the back.
Get that money.
Get that
money.
Get
that money.
Get that money.
I'm gonna get that and sell it to TMZ and make $1 million just off of this tape. But anyway, yeah. I mean, that's just what it is, right? You know. But yeah, so that was another big one. Anything else do you remember from 2024? Any video games or any music that came out this year? Anything like culture, like music-wise?
Music, I don't, because I'm so biased to music, so it doesn't. I don't want to talk about it. It's just gonna be all metal stuff. But music-wise, I can't think of anything top of my head. Culture, I don't think so.
I think music-wise, people are saying that like. Country is just like keeps trying to get like bigger in the genres. Like they keep trying to broaden like what country is, and it's like I don't listen to country, so I can't really speak to it. But I would assume that's probably pretty accurate with the way pop culture goes, right? They shove things down your throat, like they say they deem what's popular and what's whatever, and then that's what becomes popular. So I'm pretty sure that is probably true. Right. And then like video game wise, well, the new Switch Pro is supposed to be coming out. Nintendo Switch Pro is supposed to be coming out. PS5 is supposed to have the Switch or PS5 Pro because they're not ready for the
You said
6.
I thought you were trying to say PS5 Pro or PS5 Switch. I'm like,
Yeah,
what?
no, that'd be cool.
Collaborating?
And then I read today that Xbox is going to make a version of the Switch or whatever, and it's like you're 10 years late, bro. Like to the game, like it's cool.
Dude.
Like even PlayStation 5 has a PlayStation 5 portable, but you can't play without a PlayStation 5, which is the dumbest shit ever. So you can be in your house, be in the same internet connection, and be playing it, but you have to be online for it to play, which makes no sense at all.
See, Xbox is I mean, I love Windows over iPhone.
So do I.
Apple over any day. But, they are way behind the curve. Like, look, they called their third system Xbox One.
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, come on. That tells you one thing. They're just...
Xbox games I play on there that are good, like Call of Duty is still great to play on Xbox. And, like, we're playing NHL 24, and my sister asked me what get Lincoln for Christmas this year, and I said NHL 25. And she's like, okay, you want an Xbox, whatever. Now we've been playing NHL 24. I like it on Xbox a lot. But I told him, like, get it on PS5 so he can play the game on both systems, right? Because they're both good. I want to see which one he likes more.
Right.
And I just want to see the difference in the graphics and everything else like that. But it's like I'm a PS5 guy more than I'm an Xbox guy, but I still love Xbox. I love them both for certain games. Yeah. But
you're gonna hate the present I got him.
No, that's fine. I don't care whatever you got him. But it's
you will.
It's whatever he likes.
It's something he likes. It's Minecraft.
Just tell me because it's Minecraft.
Yeah, it's Minecraft.
Is it Creeper? Look at the balls.
No.
Okay.
I'll tell you.
All right.
Not right now.
Okay. But yeah, anyway, so like the video game thing, there's no new systems coming out. I mean, obviously, there's like rumblings of people saying like their new Steam Deck's going to come out. You know what Steam Deck is?
Yeah.
Which is cool. I actually thought about buying one and then just hooking it up and then using a docking station to play on the TV downstairs. And it's like, well, at that point, like, why don't you just buy a computer? And it's like, well, because it's portable and I can bring it anywhere with me. So I just thought it would be cool. But if a new Switch comes out, I'll probably end up buying it because I'm such a Nintendo fanboy.
Yeah.
I got Lincoln a couple Switch games this year. Like that Sonic one that came out this year.
Yeah.
It dropped like $30 in price on Amazon. I'm buying it.
Yeah.
So I bought it for him. And I bought him another game down there. It's just something to put in a stocking so he can open it, to play some games. Because I think every year kids should have something like that to entertain themselves. So, video game music-wise, there's not that much pop culture music-wise stuff. I do see people like doing like rebooting songs a bunch on pop culture-wise, but that's been the norm forever. That's been something being done since the 80s, 90s, probably even earlier than that, right?
Yeah. Always.
So that's my year-end wrap-up of 2024. That was like the big pop culture things I remember. I'm sure there's more that I've missed. Maybe like new foods and like new shit that people are into.
Really, I don't think, honestly.
But I don't think there's been anything else that really interesting in 2024 besides that. Now, what are your predictions for 2025?
Hold on, before we get on predictions.
Okay, you got some other stuff?
I have a lot of questions.
Okay, go ahead.
Let me find it here.
Well, next time you have the questions, bring them up.
I have a lot. I have to go through my phone and shit because I save the website sometimes.
You hear that, folks? He's got to go through the websites.
Yes, because that's where I stole shit, quote unquote. Okay. What was your biggest highlight of 2024?
My biggest highlight of 2024, I would have to say my son making this private hockey club was the biggest thing for me. Like not just for him, it was ecstatic for me because I wanted him to make it. Like I wanted that more than I wanted to breathe air. I wanted him to have it for him because I wanted him to have fun with a bunch of kids that I knew that level he was at, ready to play at. Because I think he deserved it and he put all the hard work in. And, I helped him and do a lot of stuff, but I think that was the biggest highlight because it was just it was more satisfying and like rewarding watching my son get that than doing anything that I did this year at all. Yeah. By far.
Okay. For me, it's not a good thing. It was my brother dying because that just hit me the hardest. Ever.
Yeah.
Because I've always not really give a shit when things happen like that, but then he just died and just like, oh damn, fuck.
Yeah, it sucks. I never got to meet your brother, Tim.
You were so good. You were so glad. So lucky.
Well, I mean, I feel like he's probably got some of your humor and some of your stuff growing up during the. I mean, most siblings kind of have that camaraderie where they kind of are the same people but different people. Like me and my sister Ashley act and talk a lot of the same and do certain things, but we're very different in a lot of ways too. So I always assumed your brother Tom was just like that. But same time, yeah, dude, I don't know how to. I'm not going through a mile through your shoes, walking, saying like, "Oh, I know what it's like to lose somebody like a brother," because I don't have a brother. Right. But I knew for a fact that you guys were. As you got, yeah. Well, you technically are.
I know.
And you're my wife's like, why do you call him Uncle Tim? I'm like, well, because he's kind of Lincoln's uncle in a way, because he's kind of my brother in the same way. So like whatever, it's by blood, no, but at the same time, going back to what you were saying about your brother though, you told me like you guys had a great relationship when you were young, and then as you got older, kind of, well, not great, but better, and then you got older, and you guys kind of like falling out, and you guys got older, you kind of maybe had a little bit of rekindling, maybe not at all, I don't know.
Hardly at all.
Hardly at all.
Yeah. Only when he was sick and in the hospital.
Yeah, and that sucks that it came to that to have a rekindling, because I'm sure like if your brother would have called you, you guys would have talked and did stuff. But it goes both ways. Like if he's not putting in effort, it's hard for you to put in effort, right?
Right. Well, I was the one always calling him. It's just he never called me back, and then whenever he actually did call me. It's just like, okay, he called me at a bad time.
Yeah, he'd be like, sorry, Tim, I'm watching Backdoor Sluts 9 on my laptop.
Right, exactly. And then after I'm done with that, I'm going to watch something on my tablet, and other Backdoor Sluts on my tablet.
Yeah.
And then when I'm done with that, we go in the bathroom, check my phone, and get on more Backdoor Sluts.
It's funny. I've heard this from a bunch of people, but also at the same time, it's kind of different, is that a lot of people say, like, when someone dies, you find out a different side of them that you didn't know.
Yeah, you find out who they really are.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I knew my brother was a porn addict, but I didn't know this fucking bad, dude. Seriously. It's just oodles and megabytes of input, as Johnny Five would say.
Yeah, some people, well, you know what? It's like anything. Some people have a healthy addiction and an unhealthy addiction with things.
Well, see, what exactly is a healthy addiction to porn?
I don't think porn's a healthy addiction, but I would say it's pretty normal for most men, and even women, and not to exclude women at all, but I think for most men, it's pretty normal that men look at porn. Yeah. Married or not married, a lot of people think it's a sin, or some people think it's bad for you to do it, or it's cheating in a relationship, whatever you can call it, any of that stuff. But at the end of the day, I'd rather my significant other look at something online and satisfy themselves than go out and actually really do something like that would actually be more harmful to me or my family or anything else, because it's just human nature that people want something they can't have, or
guys want to see tits. If they want to see one, they want to see them all.
Right, and that's human nature. So I think at the end of the day, I think it's whatever. But yes, the healthy addiction is that it's all you watch and all you do, and you get that for your 5 minutes of satisfaction or whatever to get your nut off or whatever. And it's like, okay, well,
then what?
Then what? Then it's back to it again a couple hours later. Like for most men, it's a couple hours later. It's like, no, that's probably not a normal thing. But then also it becomes like a vice in them. I don't know. I'm not one of those people, so I can't speak to it.
Hobby. Yeah,
it was a hobby. So whatever. So
anyway, but that was my highlight. Okay, what was the most challenging moment you faced this year?
Challenging moment I faced this year. Why don't you go first and let me think about it?
Mine, of course, again, was something to do with my brother, because I've never dealt with it in making funeral arrangements or anything like that.
Mm-hmm.
We were just like literally thrown into it. It's like, here, he's dead. Take care of him. It's like, well, fuck. When I was little, mom and dad would do this stuff, or grandma or grandpa. They knew what they were doing, and with the help of the cremation guy, he was really down to earth, really he's done this a few times, kind of thing, where he talked us through it and the whole process and what to do and what have you. Mm-hmm. So, which was really good. It was a bit challenging, like I said. I knew it automatically. I wanted to get him cremated. Mm-hmm. I just didn't know the process to go through with it, because for one, everybody says you got to go around pricing. You got to see who costs more than others, because some places you're paying for the name than the actual doing of the cremation kind of thing. You're paying for the roof over the mortuary's head along with their name because they're popular or something like that. So you're paying maybe $2,000-$3,000 more than you normally would. Yeah. Like I said, the one company or one family we went with, which is oddly enough where my mom used to work when I was growing up. Mm-hmm. I won't say their name, but they were $2,900 or something like that. Mm-hmm. That was just for the service, just for the cremation, and to have the get together, so to say. Sure. Okay. For the other guy we went to another company, $700. Mm-hmm. If we wanted, and then we wanted copies of the death certificate to pass out to anybody who needed it on the companies.
Couple $100.
Yeah, that was another $100. So we paid $800. We saved $2,100. At least $2,100 just because we didn't pay for the name.
Did he have life insurance?
No.
That sucks.
He was very stupid about money and stuff like that.
Yeah. What I was going to say was something I've learned through older people, because obviously I haven't been through this yet, which and you just got to go through it, is the funeral business is a fucking money scam.
It's
isn't
a
it?
dying business.
It's a dying business, but it's a money scam business, and they know people are willing to pay. Like, here is our upscaled fucking coffin, the berry that's made out of something from France or whatever, and you're like, cool, like
some kind of French ash wood. Or
yeah,
some shit.
and it's like, does it get buried in the ground like everybody else and where they die? Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like, it's not saying I don't want to cheap out and have nothing nice for my family to get buried in, but at the end of the day, they're going to decompose like everybody else and every other thing. So it's like, I'm not going to buy the cheapest, but I'm not going to buy the best. I'll probably buy something in the middle. Most people get life insurance or have something that cover their funeral costs, but nobody should have to pay $20,000 for a funeral. I'm sorry. It shouldn't cost that much money. Sorry.
Dude, it costs $700 just to drill a hole in the ground
Mm-hmm.
to put ashes in.
Seriously?
Yes, $700 when I can just go to Home Depot, buy a goddamn hoe and
Shovel?
a little shovel, little
Backhoe.
garden shovel kind of thing for $20, if that,
And bury it
then bury the
yourself?
fucker.
Yeah.
Yeah, because you also have sometimes some of the cemeteries will charge you on top of that because you're going in their property, even though your family members is there.
Yeah. That's why people buy burial plots ahead of
It's
time.
like, dude, fucking throw your ashes out in fucking Disneyland or
Yeah.
somewhere
Well, you
else,
also got to pay
that
the
kind of
crew
shit.
to come in and dig it up. But it's like,
Yeah,
that's
it's
like,
like,
they,
goddamn,
but they
dude.
use a machine. It's not like they're actually physically digging like it's the old days or whatever, you know what I'm saying? Like 6 feet underground or burying it. But okay, so my biggest challenge, I would say this year, it's probably two things. It's probably the life balance of my family with my other part of my extended family and my other family, because it's like I've been so wrapped up in obviously my life with my family, but also all the activities they're in, and trying to balance out, like, you never spend time with us, or my family not coming to the activities and like getting upset about it, and then them always having excuses or whatever, and then you kind of realize, like, are they selfish, or they just they're busy like everybody else and they don't do it on purpose, and and it's like everybody that has kids that's probably goes through this with their family, because there's more than one sibling in the family, or or a grandchild, so they can't go to everything and they can't be everywhere, and that's realistic. I understand that, but I think the challenge part with me was just like my family saying they're going to come to something, don't come to it, or they get upset. It's like, I think that happens a lot. Huh?
Sorry, I do that too.
No, but you're different though. That's not the same. What my point is, I think that's been a big hurdle. It's like trying to figure out the balance of it and like not getting upset about it. Like certain times I get pissed off about it, and like I would just say something to my parents and be like, "Yeah, well, you miss Lincoln's singing today, and you told me you're going to go. Well, I got sick or I didn't feel good." And it's like, well, it's just like he's not getting any younger and you're getting any older. So I would get pissed off and be like, okay, well, huh? That's why I tell them. I said, you guys are missing out, and then they'd be like, oh, I'm sorry, and I feel bad for saying shit to my mom and dad,
but you have to.
It's.
It's Link. He's only 6 years old for 365 days.
Yeah, so I think that's a big hurdle, and also this year, I've said it before in the podcast a couple times, but this year probably the worst after Tim's done making his usual noise once the podcast is work. Work has been awful this year. It's been the worst work year for me for my life. I just, I think it's just because I'm so burnt out of work and just what I'm doing. I just don't feel appreciated as much as I usually do at work, and I just feel like I'm going through the fucking routine now. And maybe it's because I'm working from home. Maybe it's not, but I think it's just because I don't care. Like somebody said this perfect. Let me pull this up. I was going to pull this up on the podcast earlier for a different thing, but the guy said, what did he say? Something about like PTO. And like, I always take my 30-day hiatus from work when I'm like, I think it's really awesome. So many people are like, this is the greatest thing ever that you do this. And it's like, yeah, tell that to my wife and other people. Right. This is what the guy said. I don't know, he needs to hear this, but take your lunch break, your evenings, your weekends, your holidays, and your PTO. You agreed to a job in exchange for pay and benefits. You did not sign up to sell your soul in every moment of your personal time. And I was like, fucking boom. And, it's like before when I was younger, I was more into that. What that guy was saying, like I wouldn't take PTO. I wouldn't, I'd work on the evenings.
You wanted the money.
I wanted the money, but I also wanted the kudos and be like, I'm a good employee. Like I want to get promoted and do all this other stuff, and I want to look good. But also, I enjoyed it, so like it wasn't that big of a deal. Now, it's not like I don't enjoy my job. Let's say that I don't give a fuck. I have more important things in my life going on. So like people are like, you take 30 days of PTO off, or you're doing this, and it's like, yeah, I just don't care. Work's not that important to me. It's a paycheck. Yeah. To me, it's not a family. Like everybody's like, oh, you're here this job. We're here a family. No, we're not. We're coworkers. We clock in. We see each other. We're acquaintances. I'm not best friends with these people. A couple of people I'm close friends with or friends with, but I wouldn't even say we're even close friends. I'd just say we're cordial friends. And that's just the way I look at it now. So like work to me has just become more of something I do, not something I live by. And like, oh my God, like people see like where I work and be like, oh, you work for a great company. It's like, yeah, it used to be a great company, but not something I go around and I'm like proud to say like, oh, I work here like I used to. Like it's becoming so corporate now. It's like every other company, right? Yeah. You know, it's cool. Like the butterflies have worn off, the Kool-Aid drinking's worn off. It's like Jen, I'm sure she loves her new job where she's at and everything's great. But that little fantasy dies off after a while. It's like getting a promotion. The promotion's great at first, and the money's great at first, or you get a new job somewhere, it's awesome. But after a while, it wears off, and you're like, oh, it's just a job. Yeah. You know? Yeah. So I think that's kind of what's kind of happened this year with me. I think it's just my work environment's changed, and I'm just not into it as much. Yeah,
that makes sense.
You know?
Totally. All right, what is one thing that you learned about yourself this year? You kind of touched on a few of those things, but more elaborate on things about yourself.
You go. That way I can think, because you've probably been stewing on this a little bit longer than I have.
I'm just very shocked at, I mean, with all this, as accident prone as I've been and shit like that, something's not really bad happened to me, which I'm really happy about. I stopped and smelled the roses and realized that, I do have a brain up here, and I have been using it a lot more and been more vocal about it and saying, I'm always the first one to say fuck you for the second that somebody tries to like hurt me or anything like that. So, but now it's like I'm actually thinking about things. I'm not saying fuck every 5 seconds anymore. I'm actually being a grown up kind of thing where I watch my words, and even in public and stuff like that. Because like I said before, I give 2 fucks if I say fuck or cunt in the middle of a Walmart. Yeah. Now I think about it.
Yeah.
So, which is I think I'm actually showing my age. So to say.
I would say I'm gonna piggyback off that and say I agree, because I think this year for me, I felt more like an adult than I've ever felt like an adult before in my life. Not saying like I wouldn't feel like an adult before, but I feel like there's always you've grown. There's always stages you go through, and I think this year, because I have children, I know I've said this a million times, but there's something about when you have kids that changes your brain. Mentally and intellectually, and just maturity wise and things like that, is where I talk and act more grown up than I've ever had. Like you were saying, like I'm always got the dark humor around like certain friends and people that I can talk and act like the real person that I really am behind closed doors. But like out in public and other things I've done, I've always been a grown up, and I've always been more grown up, I say, than most people, and my wife and other people about certain things, and other certain things she's more grown up about, right? I think that's most people. But this year, for sure, I've been more like I want to be a good dad. So like I'm always trying to do like the right thing, say the right thing, like look at it from a different perspective, not my perspective, like not be selfish. Like I want the best for my children or whatever else is going on. It's like where before it's like I was more selfish about certain things. All that kind of stuff has kind of went away this year. So that's been a big thing. But also, I don't know. There's many things going on that I could probably name, but I'd say a big one. It's definitely with your age. Like like I've been like this a long time. But someone said like, how you know your age, and like what, like when you realize you hate loud music or loud places with people around you. I'm like, yeah, I've been like that since like I've been in my 20s. So I've been old. I'm kind of been old hearted for a long time with certain things.
You're an old soul.
Huh?
You're an old soul.
I'm an old soul. I mean, I literally have a sign that says keep off my grass on my lawn. So
get off the lawn.
If I'm not the grumpy old man already in the neighborhood, I'm not. But it's like I do it on purpose because I take pride in my yard. I want people off my yard because I put work in it. Now, if I didn't work in my yard, I probably wouldn't care. When I was younger, I didn't give a shit about grass at all. It's more when I just care about my house. It's a stupid thing. But I don't know. Is there a way to rephrase that question so I can think about it a different way?
No, I think the way you said it was fine because you found how you found yourself this year. What's something that surprised yourself about yourself?
I'd say also maybe something that surprised me was just the simple fact that the more I think about it, and we think about it every year, is I just don't care what people think anymore. We talk about this all the time.
Good.
I've never really. I used to care more what people thought about me or whatever else, and this would I got some other topics that are going to lay into this. I've noticed more. But I just don't give a fuck. I used to care more because I'm a people pleaser. I like people to like me.
Right.
But now I don't care. I don't have time to care.
Good. Proud of you on that one.
Yeah, it's just something I just don't give a shit about anymore.
Good.
What's your next one?
All right, this is the last one for this main topic.
Okay.
I know you kind of talk about it with Lincoln and being hockey and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
What's a compliment? What accomplishment are you most proud of?
This year?
Yeah. No, last year.
Yeah, last year. Last year, 2025 year. Yeah, I'm talking about the future. And I can't just say anything else. It has to be my son playing hockey. The way he's progressed and the way he's playing. Now, is it all me? No, not at all. But the accomplishment of just him playing sports and how active he is and how much fun he's having. And people are coming up and saying, like, wow, your son is such a good player or whatever. It's cool to see it's a reflection off all the hard work we put into it. So that might be accomplishment-wise. But also just, like, I would say just stepping back and, like you said, smelling the roses, like taking in all the fun and what I've been doing, because I've realized this year that, dude, life is so short and everything just goes by faster. And every year seems to go by just a little bit quicker, and every day seems to go by a little bit quicker. I wake up at 6 o'clock and it's already 7 o'clock at night. And I think the big thing to me is I try to live in the moment more than I've lived in past years, where I was like, yeah, I want these days to go by fast so I can get to playing hockey on Thursday, or me and my wife can go do something and watch this movie and be enjoyable. Where now I'm kind of like, I want it to slow down so I can savor these moments, because like just today, now this might be stupid, might not, but I think some parents can relate to it and some people can relate to it. Sometimes when I drop my kid off at school, I'm like, it gets surreal, like letting him go and letting him like grow up and be like his own person. It's like he doesn't need me or dad or mom or to go do something. So sometimes it kind of makes me like tear up, and I don't get teary eyed for anything. Right. So like that's a surreal thing that's never happened to me. Like it surprised me this year. I was like, man, I just didn't realize like I have those emotions now. Like I'm starting like to get older. It's just what it is, you know. And I'm like, I can't believe my son's about to be 7. Like I can remember yesterday where he was just shitting on his hands and throwing it at me, you know, or something, you know, something like that. So, What about you?
Yeah, I mean that's the big one. Was it's same thing as the realized about myself. You know, I'm starting to actually grow up a little bit. You know, I'm being a little more mature than I usually am, which is kind of scary at the same time. Because whenever, like I said, with my brother dying, that kind of hit me, and you know, it's fucked me in the head right now still. But you know, I'll get through it. But with like my parents dying, just I was like, whatever. Now with my brother dying, it's just like, god damn, I have no immediate family now.
Yeah,
you know, no brothers, sisters.
And you're not getting younger. And your brother dying, he died at a very young age. So it's not like, you know, people are like, oh, 40s. You know, 46 is young. Yeah. You know, 46 is not old by any means. People just don't realize, like 30s used to be old to people because people didn't live long. 40s used to be old. 50s used to be old. You know, now what old is 70. 60's not even really that old. You know, or 50, I even say that's old. You know, 50's like midlife, or even mid 40s is midlife. You know. Yeah. So that's the way I look at it.
To sum it up and to knock on wood, big time knock on wood, all the bad shit and all the drugs and sex, drugs, and rock and roll I did when I was growing up, I outlived every member of my family. You know, because I went hardcore. I'm still a hardcore champion of drinking and stuff like that. Of the 4 of us kind of thing. And it's just like, dude, all that bad shit, all the accidents, all the mishaps, and you know, falling and shit like that. And it's like, god damn, I beat every single one of them.
Well, it's not even just beat. Maybe you've taken care of yourself better.
Well, it's not just that. It's just that's what that is kind of like what I'm getting at.
Yeah.
It's just like it's like, wow, of all the shit I used to beat myself all up about like I said, sex, drugs, and shit like that. Now it's just like, god damn, dude.
It's cool. I mean, it's a good thing.
It's cool. It's weird too.
I'll put this out there real quick, and I'll think about it too. It gets more surreal as we get older. So this Christmas, and I don't know what it is always for the holidays, but it seems like more people get like sickness and death and like things happen to them in their families or just to themselves. Well, I'm not gonna name any names or anything, but like one of the people I work with, like he had to go get surgery for his back, or he's about to, or whatever, because his back's all fucked up. It's been fucked up for years, but it's gotten to a point where he can barely stand up and sit up. And he's 40 years old. Wow. You know, and a lot of it comes down to like no one takes care of themselves until they have a health scare, right? And usually has how it sets in. Yeah. And then someone else had a health scare in our team. Someone else had a health scare and all this stuff. And it's like, looking at people like that, and people are always wondering why I've always like been more like a health conscious freak about stuff, and it's like because of this shit right here. Like I don't want to be you at 40 years old. I want to be who I am, and I still want to feel like I'm young. And not saying things can't happen because shit happens, or whatever. Right. But I want to at least say I made a valiant effort to take care of myself, where I try to avoid these kind of situations, this kind of stuff. So I'm not perfect, by any means, but at the same time, I think that people, like we talked about before, the first 40 years of your life, you're living your life. The last 40 years, you're trying to stay alive. Like it just something like that. It's like I don't want to do that. I want to try to stay alive and just be able to stay alive and enjoy my life. Because most people don't get to enjoy their life until they get older because they're in the rat race of working, and take care of themselves. And people don't realize how good they have it when they're as a kid, and they get to adult, and they're like, you're working to survive at that point, to survive, to eat, and do everything else, and take care of people, and it sucks. That's why it's a rat race.
Exactly.
So, I'll lead off the end with 2025 predictions for next year, and kind of like the year and wrap up of final thoughts. I have a couple questions. They're my random questions. I'll just throw in here like I always do, because that's. Do you have any other random stuff you're gonna throw in? Okay. We'll go back and forth on this one. Reasons why kids want to grow up so fast earlier and be an adult compared to when we were kids.
Because they want money to buy the shit they think they need. Honestly.
Yeah.
Because if you're 6 years old, you see dad has an Xbox, and then you see a new Xbox on TV, like an ad or something like that, you want it.
That's true.
And you ask Mommy, Daddy, can I have the new Xbox? They say no. You're disappointed, so you want to get a job. You want to get the money. You want responsibility to buy that yourself. And for some kids, for a while, even into your adulthood, it's more satisfying to know that you bought it yourself, you earned it. But a lot of kids just want to grow up fast so they can do the cool things that everybody else, the cool kids are doing, so to say. Plus also if you want to play hockey, if your son's, I'm just saying this example, not because it's real.
No, I know.
Then your son wants to play hockey, but he sees you doing it. He wants to do that.
Yeah.
He wants to drive somewhere. He can't go anywhere, but he wants to pick his friends up and shit like that. Sports Center. It's that kind of, they want to be a cool kid, and they think growing up will help them be that kid.
There's so many questions to this answer, and we'll just keep going down the hole, but as we keep talking about it. But I think there's a lot of things. When I was a kid, I wanted to grow up for.
You wanted to be a Ninja Turtle.
I wanted to be a Ninja Turtle and a G.I. Joe and a Power Ranger.
Oh God, that's right.
Yeah. Because I wanted to bang Kimberly, the Pink Ranger. That's the White Ranger.
I'll show her my Pink Ranger.
Yeah. So anyway, fuck, I lost my train of thought, idiot.
What you want to be when you grow up.
No, I know. The reason I wanted to grow up earlier was there's lots of reasons. One, you want the freedom of what adults get, right? Exactly. So you want the freedom of being like, I can drive a car, I can go do this, hang out with my friends, whatever, blah, blah, blah. Because you don't get that freedom. You're tied down to whatever your mom and dad want to do. You want to eat and do whatever you want to do. I want to eat, sleep, shit, do whatever I want to do. I want nobody to tell me what I can and can't do because I'm an adult. This one stuck with me because someone said, I didn't think about this until I got older, but as a kid, people, when you talk to them, they look at you like you're just an idiot little kid. When you get older, the adult, people take you more serious and listen to what you have to say. When I was a kid, there's be times I would talk about something, I want people to listen, and they would just ignore me because I'm a kid.
It was important to you, but it wasn't important to them.
Right now, I was like, God damn it! Like, why won't anybody listening to me? Like, and as I got older, it started happening more. It's like, okay, I want to be an adult for that reason. You think everything as a kid gets to a point where it becomes boring, and you're looking at adults having fun, like drinking or whatever they're doing and going out and doing stuff. It's like you look at them and you're like, I want to do that because that looks fun because I haven't got to experience that yet. And you realize when you get there, it's not what it's made out to be. It's stupid.
Sometimes it's fun, but then it burns out.
It's a short-lived thing. Most of the time, it's only fun because you're hanging out with your family and your people. It's not fun because you're doing it all the time. It's because the adults never get to do that kind of stuff. Right. That's why it's more fun to adult. I would say also. It has to do with the simple fact that there's so much shit on social media now. These kids see days. I'm trying to go back to the room of like what kids want to grow up faster now is because of what they see online and what they don't get to live and breathe at their house because they're told pretty much as a kid you're told what you can do all day long, where to go, where to eat, where to sleep, where to shit, and they don't get any freedom. So I think that has something to do with. I mean, I talked about freedom a little bit earlier, but I think it's just generation. They think they want to grow up, but they really don't. Like it's like these kids want to grow up, but they want to have no responsibility when they grow up. You know, they want to have everything handed to them and catered to them.
Yeah.
I feel like that's what is really wrong with this generation of kids nowadays. I mean, I don't know how many kids I know that go to work and they can't make it at work. And we're talking about easy jobs. I mean, you're talking about jobs where I work at as an intern and they'll quit. Like, oh, this is too hard. I don't want to do this. I got to show up every day at what time? I got to do this.
Right.
You know, I can't
5
call
days
in.
a week?
I can't call in sick and just hang out at home and play my damn phone. It's like, where are your parents at? Like, if that was my dad or my mom, they would slap the shit out of me. You know, like, what the fuck are you thinking? Like, you got this good job, you're gonna throw it away because you want to play on your phone and eat Doritos and TikTok and sit in your underwear and play video games. Like, you can do that any day of the week. You're not gonna do that.
Right.
You know, so.
Makes sense.
Yeah. I know. I just think there's a lot of kids nowadays that they want to grow up, but they don't really. And I think it's just immaturity. You want to grow up and you just don't know. It's the unknown. You know, it's you look at an adult and you see all the things they get to do, and you just want to experience what they get to do, and you want nobody telling you what you can and can't do. That's it. I think that's what it comes down to.
Oh yeah.
You know.
I agree.
That was reasons why I think people want to grow up. But I think there's also because you also want to have a relationship with people. Like you want to date people and you want to do stuff. I think that's another thing kids they look at like, oh, I want to date a girl or I want to date a guy. You know, it just depends on what kind of family you live in. Like, you know, I think that's something people want to do too. They want to have a significant other. That was something I always wanted as a kid. I'm like, I want to date a girl. Like having a girlfriend sounded and looked fun and cool.
Right.
You know.
Also, some guys think girls have cooties.
Well, sure. I mean, you're still like that with Jen.
She does.
Here's another one. And this can kind of go on this one. What age do you feel like an adult? Can we kind of talk about that? Because you're just talking about being a kind of adult. What age do you feel like an adult?
It varies on the person because a lot of things you can experience and make you feel like a kid again.
Mm-hmm.
So that's really hard to answer because it could be in pretty much any age. Because you can have like a 19-year-old who has sex for the first time. It's like, God, I feel so good. I'm giddy as a schoolgirl. Then you have the 96-year-old guys who are, glad they made it to the toilet on time.
Right.
That are excited, just as excited. They feel like a kid again.
Yeah, that's true.
So it really depends on the person and what the situation is.
I don't think age defines you being an adult. I think your actions define you as being an adult. I think it's a maturity thing. I think it's a brain thing, like you're saying. Like I think most men don't mature until they're 25. I think is the age. That's why your car insurance goes down because most people by then are good drivers and make good decisions. Huh?
You would hope. Yeah,
you would hope. But I also think that we've talked about it, maybe touched on it before, but I think it's definitely. It's a mindset more than anything. Now you can say you're an adult and you can do all the things that you're an adult, but your actions speak louder than words. So at the end of the day, if you don't live and breathe that you're not an adult, and here's something. This isn't even an adult. This is just my age getting older. We talked about earlier was my wife. I still have my ears pierced, so I still wear them once in a while, whatever. And it depends on my outfit and when I'm going out, and I feel like wearing them. And I don't wear them that much anymore because I'm a dad. And my wife's like, "Why don't you wear them?" I still like them. I'm like, I don't know. They don't fit me as my personality anymore. I'm not the young kid that's still 18 or 20s or even early 30s. I'm 37 years old. I don't want to, not say I don't want to feel my age, but I want to look my age. And I don't look like an adult 37 years old wearing earrings. I just don't. I don't feel like a dad with my kids out wearing earrings. Is that a stupid thing? It's like saying I have tattoos or anything else. No. I've kind of just grown out of that phase of me. Now, I'll still wear them once in a while if the wife wants me to, which is very slim now, but you knew me when I was a kid. I always had earrings in. I always wore my earrings. I always whatever. It was my identity, having that kind of stuff. I was a skateboarder, hockey player, whatever. Girls loved it. They liked to suck on my ears and do that. No, I'm just joking.
Just your ears.
Yeah. My toes next. Gross. But anyway, I don't think there's really an age that defines you now. Now, this quote stuck with me, and I wanted to bring this up to you while you're playing with your fingers and phone. When you're an adult, you feel like a kid faking it through life. And it's like, holy shit, that kind of hit me because I feel like for the longest time, I always wanted to act and I wanted everybody outside looking in to look at me and see like I'm an adult. But inside, I've always felt like I'm a kid. I'm just faking it being an adult, right?
Yeah.
And like you were saying earlier, it's like I didn't really start getting that until I got older. Now, I did adult things, but I was always a kid.
Exactly.
Right?
Yeah, you always had a kid mindset with it. Yeah, I'm like that every day.
Mm-hmm. Well, sure. Like you're an adult, like we talk about. You're an adult when you need to be an adult, and you're a kid when you need to be a kid. Behind closed doors.
I know when to turn it off.
Yeah, you know when to turn it on and off.
Not always,
But I think that's right. Like when you're an adult, you feel like you're a kid faking it through life. I think that's a lot of people. I don't think that's just me or you. I think that's most people.
That's a lot, yeah.
And it's most people in their 20s and even early 30s. And I think eventually you grow out of that phase, right? You're just adult every day.
Maybe.
Well, not really grow out of it, but I think you're just.
Less of it.
Yes, you're less of it. That's true.
Yeah.
So that was kind of a quote that stuck with me.
Yeah, I agree.
Do you have another question? I got a couple more.
I got a bunch more with a different topic, different main topic.
All right, I got mine. Is going to be on. I got another topic. It's going to be like kind of sport question. So you go ahead and do your questions. I'll bring this up again.
Well, mine was like for
Talking to Mike.
deep conversation kind of thing, or we could do something like planning ahead for 25.
Go on your other one.
Deep conversation one.
Mm.
What is something this year you're most grateful for?
Something I'm most grateful for this year. Man, I would just say my health. Maybe it's something I try not to take for granted every day. So I think my health, is something I'm very grateful for.
Yeah, same here.
Mm-hmm.
Just could get sick all the goddamn time, and I'm glad we have the advances, the stuff that we have to advance and be better.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, health would be a huge one.
Yeah, grateful for that, and just having you and some of my friends and some of my stuff nowadays. It's as you get older, you realize like how short all that stuff is and how fake a lot of people are. So it's like I'm glad I have like you as a real friend but family members and some of my family and stuff. And I don't know. I just as I've gotten older, I don't care about the same things I used to care about anymore.
Yeah.
You know.
Right.
For the longest time, and I'll always be one of these people, I'm like, for the longest time, I've always been grateful that I had video games and I could have a community to play in, and I still have friends and do that stuff. But, as I've gotten older, you kind of grow out of it. Like, I still love it, and I still want to do it, but I just don't care about it as much. I used to be obsessed with it. So, I don't know if that's something to be grateful with or not, but it's like I'm so grateful I have it, and I still have friends that play it. But at the end of the day, I don't care about it. Like, Lincoln will invite me down to play games for a couple hours.
Right.
And after about 30 minutes to an hour, I'm like, dude, I don't want to play this anymore. Like,
Yeah.
I got other things I want to do.
Yeah.
Most of the time, it's just relaxing and not dealing with shit. So,
Right. Well, that makes sense.
Yeah. So I don't know. I'm grateful for a lot of things, but I think health is probably the most important one. Family,
Okay.
blowjobs.
Blowjobs. All right. What is the one thing you want to let go of this year?
One thing I want to let go of.
Yeah.
Things that are out of my control that I just can't control. Like you want to control everything. I don't know if there's a specific thing on my in this thing, but just things that are out of my control. I want that and just letting go of stress, like just not holding things in and stressing out about dumb shit all the time. Like, and that's probably what the thing is. It's like I want to control every situation down to the fucking the hour and the minute of things because that's how I am or whatever. That could be with my family or work or whatever, and it's like that's just not how it's ever gonna work out. Like I've always tried to do that, and as I've gotten older, I've let go of it more. So just continue down that trend.
Yeah.
What about you?
I like that answer. That's good. I want to let go of a lot of negativity that I have, a lot of anger I have built up.
Mm-hmm.
I need some kind of way to vent, release it as I kick the table every single time.
Mm-hmm.
Just some way to channel my anger. Because before I would play my guitar or something like that, and just let out my anger that way. Beat up. It's better to beat up a $5 set of guitar strings than it is to punch somebody in the face.
Yeah.
It's a lot cheaper too.
That's true.
So more way of event.
Yeah, letting go, letting stress go, doing something. It has to be something you enjoy. I feel like that's the best medicine for most people, right?
Yeah.
I mean, this podcast helps me doing the stuff like venting and getting things out. Playing hockey also helps. Yours were music, still doing music. You got the podcast, radio thing, you got show you got doing. I'm sure doing the horror page was fun for a while, but now it's getting old, and everything else. It's become more of a stress and actually like a relief to be doing that because it became a job, right? A job you're not getting paid for, and you did it.
It's not the page itself; it's just the people that are on it because they're like children.
Mm-hmm.
You have 250,000 people you're watching over, and then 5 of them want to be children. It's like, dude, seriously, we don't need that kind of negativity. We don't want you bashing this movie or talking shit about this or that or whatever. And we tell people over and over and over again, and they're like, okay, I'll behave. And then 2 days later, they do the same fucking thing or they do something worse. It's like, really, dude? Seriously?
Yeah, nothing's fun babysitting adults.
It's not, especially when they're younger, like a year or two younger than you.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, come on, man.
It's weird, but at the same time, That's what we were talking about earlier. It's like these people, they act like they're adults. They tell you they're adults, but they're not adults.
Yeah.
You know. What's your next one?
What's your biggest takeaway from this year?
My biggest takeaway.
Oh.
Let's say, I'd say my biggest takeaway this year from a lot of things is try to be more open-minded and accepting of new relationships with people. Before I would just like shut everything down, where I just didn't care. Like, I don't have anything in common with you. I don't want to be your friend. Where before it's like I don't think those people are trying to be my friends, but it's like I think it's like I had this old mindset where I think my mom and dad said this to me before, was like, new people are going to come in your life, maybe through sports with Lincoln, whatever, I'll use for example. And you might make friends that way or whatever, and he'll make friends with people, and they might just be sports friends, or they might be actually turn out to be like really good life friends, but you never know, and just let it happen. And it's like, I don't care about any of those people. I always be like, fuck that, I'm not doing that. Like, why would I care what these other people think? It's like, I'm there for my son's sports, and everything else is just, if we make friends, great. If we don't, whatever. And before I would just, I'd meet people, and then I would just never make an effort to talk to any people. Now I've been part of like a little bit of the community. I put effort into like trying to be cordial with these people and like talk to them and like actually like seem like I care. Not just like, how's the weather today? How are you doing? How's your work doing? Like shit you say at work to people you don't give a fuck about. Like actually talking and making conversation with people and trying to be friendly. So trying to get out of that cocoon of just like, just
your shell.
Yeah, my shell, you could say whatever, and not just for myself, but for Lincoln, doing it, that is also to help him out and grow and, see that dad's not a piece of garbage or anything like that, like I like people too, I'm not so reserved.
Right.
I think I've always been that way. It's kind of my personality. Like I'll open up to people if I see like there's someone I could actually like relate to, but before I'd be like, I'm not giving this person a chance, fuck them.
Right.
What are you?
Mine would be very similar. Be more personal, more social.
Mm-hmm.
I've always been the hermit shell kind of thing. Be in my own little world kind of thing.
Mm-hmm.
Kind of, I should open up more to more people, and be open about doing things or when just random things in life in general. Just fucking live it.
Mm-hmm.
Like the Ferris Bueller quote, life moves pretty fast. If you don't stop and look around once in a while, you'll miss it.
Yeah, that's a great quote. It stuck with me ever since you said it to me. I've used that quote a bunch of times. Like I want to write it down somewhere and keep it somewhere, like my phone or like my room.
On your neck,
my balls.
Yeah, there you go. You wouldn't have enough room.
I do. I got pretty big balls.
No, I don't think you do.
You've never seen them. You wouldn't know. I'll ask Jen. Ask Jen.
Ask Jen. She'll know.
Yeah, life moves pretty fast. If you don't stop and look around, it might pass you by or whatever he says, or you might miss it.
Yeah.
It's true because it's very true. Like you think when you're a kid you have all the time in the world. Like, man, life takes forever. When you're a kid, it seems like life's moving slower than shit.
Yeah.
And you get to a certain point, it just starts speeding up and speeding up and speeding up. And now,
before you know it, you're 45.
Yeah, we can attest to it because we're old as fuck now.
Right.
That's why people call us boomers, even though we're not boomers. It's the inside joke.
We're near boomers.
That's funny. Like I'm in this fantasy football league with a bunch of my younger friends that play video games. Like they're in their early 20s now. Okay. When I first started hanging out with them or playing games, they were like in their early teens, like 18, 19, 20, whatever. Now I'm 37. They all call me a boomer. And a couple of the other guys in my group, they're in like their mid 30s or whatever, and they're all called boomers too. And they're like, "Oh, Rainey's in our fantasy football. Like he doesn't know anything about sports. He sucks, or whatever." And like said the same thing about me. And the four people that ended up in the finals was me and three other guys. They're all old. They're all in their 30s, and I was like, "Yeah, I guess youth doesn't outweigh wisdom and people that actually been around the block more than once when it comes to sports and stuff." Right. Now, obviously, it's a lot of it's luck and doing whatever. But it's my first time like, oh yeah, Rainey sucks. He doesn't know anything about football, and I'm in it for first place in the money this week to win. So if I win, I win $750. If I win first place, and I'm just giving him so much shit. Like,
dude, you should so give them like a boomer answer.
Yeah,
be like, you know what, you can call me boomer all you want, but you know what, I'm in first place. Boomer, mic drop.
Yeah, they know. I talk shit to them. Like last night we played video games, and now that I'm on PTO, I could stay up a little bit later. But here the problem is. It's really weird. If I don't fall asleep at a certain time with my routine, I wake up, I'll be tired no matter what. I went to bed at 12, and I usually go to bed at 11 now with the latest. And like I said today, I'm tired as fuck, right?
I'm up at 5:30.
And I have to get up for Lincoln and get them for school and do all like my kids and everything else, like everybody else has kids. And it's funny because it's like I stayed up late and they're like, "Oh, I didn't expect you to be on," whatever. And I talk shit to them like, "Do you know how to play this game?" Like, talking shit to me because I haven't played it in a while.
Yeah.
And at first I was rusty, and then after a while I was kicking some ass or whatever.
Yeah.
And I was like, I gotta go to bed. And they're like, God, you're so fucking old. They're like Karina's like a skeleton here playing. And I laugh because it's funny because I like listening to them talk shit because I like banter and I like giving it back to them.
Yeah. Like, I could be your dad, son.
Yeah, and they're like, yeah, don't do this. And I was like, yeah, don't worry, I won't keep your mom up too late. And then I'll like to turn off the mic or whatever, and they'll start laughing.
You should say your grandma.
Yeah. Well, my one buddy's like, yeah, my grandma sits in the kitchen and watches Fox News, and is like, yeah, when I used to date her, she used to watch CNN. Like I just to say just stupid shit like that to him to fuck with them. So
you should. That's what you should.
yeah. So long story short,
yeah,
I like it. Those guys keep me young. Listening to some of their shit. Now, some of the shit they say, I'm like, I can't talk like that. But also, just listen to them. It's like, oh man, I miss. This was a better time when I used to do this stuff. Like it still brings me happiness. So,
right, that's good.
Yeah, it's cool. Whatever.
Go ahead.
You got another one or no?
No, not subject.
Better not drop it. Nope. You're the click commander.
You are the click commander.
So this is something I've observed. Yeah, stuff that I've observed is with youth sports and stuff is why are youth sports so competitive now than when we were kids? Well, I'll go first and then you can talk about it, Tim. I think there's lots of things have changed. Well, when we were kids, the way sports were, you just joined a team. Like you just joined a local team and you're like, hey, I want to play soccer. Here's a club that plays soccer, whatever. You just joined the team. No tryouts, no nothing. You became part of that team. And if you were good or not, it didn't matter. Like, you're like, oh, here's a select team. They didn't have that much stuff when we were kids. And like, oh, you want to play on this hockey team? There's only one rink. So, like, there's only one place to go. Well, now with youth sports, it's grown so much because there's just so much of it going on. Like, there's more kids, obviously, in the world than there's ever been before. There's more arenas and rinks and ballparks and things like that. Also, you have YouTube where kids can watch and get things on demand right away to learn things way faster than they could when we were kids. We didn't have any of those resources. It was like go play outside and go play sports with your friends, and that was kind of like going home and playing sports and practicing before there was like a big thing of practicing because you couldn't go to the rink and just go have a practice unless you're very, let's say, privileged, because most kids weren't that privileged back then. I would say that's most kids nowadays.
You played on ponds, man.
Played on ponds, or you played outside in the street to play soccer, football, whatever it was, right?
Yeah, you played football in the middle of the
There's
street.
nothing wrong with playing street sports. What I meant is like why they're so competitive now, like you were saying, or we were talking about earlier, was it's definitely the parents. The mindset has changed. Youth sports, they think that people have to be more competitive at this age because that's how fast kids start. They start at younger ages, but before we didn't start that young.
Right. Parents are expecting more out of their kids.
Kids are expecting more out of their kids.
The parents are more expecting more out of their kids.
But the competitiveness in certain sports now they have these like select, like really high performing teams at young ages, and people want their kids to make them. Right. And some kids are really born to do that kind of stuff. You can tell they're really athletic, and some kids aren't, which is fine. Like you're going to have house and competitive leagues, which is fine.
Right.
I think they think that at younger ages their kids are going to be better than what they really think they are. And there's just some kids and parents that are just very competitive, and they're just so driven. They want, like, my kid's the best. I want them to be the best. And sometimes it's a reality check, like your kid's not really that good. Your kid might suck, but they want the best for their kid. So I understand that as well. I think it's just competitive now because, like, when I was 6 years old, we didn't have tryouts for a hockey team or a baseball team. It's like I said, you had to know somebody, you got on their team, you get to play with their friends.
Signed up, and that's it.
And that was it, right? I think it's got more competitive too because they want money. They put things in front of kids' programs and say this is an elite program or this is a special program, yada yada yada. They put this certain word that highlights it, and people have FOMO, fear of missing out for their kids because their other kids or they have other parents doing this and what a great program it is, but it's only limited to so many people. They pay the money, get their kids in there, and they're probably just as good or just close as good as some other programs you do, right? I think that's a lot of it too. Why things are so competitive now.
Yeah.
What do you think?
Well, like I was saying before, we got interrupted. That it's the parents that yell at the kids, and the parents yelling at the referees and shit like that, and the coaches because they think they know better. Like you said, they think their kid is the best or should be the best.
Yeah.
And it's just not normal sports. It's every kind of competition.
That's correct.
And that's just how we grew up on. It's like our dad yelling at the TV when we were little.
Yep.
Now that's us yelling at the coaches.
Yep.
And it's just our way of venting for one. Two, it's just how to tell people what to do. Get in control. That's all. That's what I don't know, I can't say 90%. I'd say at least half the population wants is they want some kind of control, and watching their kids play is something they can't control because they're not the one playing it.
Right. I think there's a lot of other things going on to it too. Like when we were kids, the coaches and the environment they taught you how to win and lose at a young age. So it became more accepting. Like no one likes losing, so it made you more competitive and want to win. And people like winning, so it made you more competitive because you wanted to win. Nowadays, they're like, oh well,
you show up, you win.
You show up, you get a prize. The participation awards. Yeah. But also like there's like, oh well, we're just here to have fun. It doesn't matter if you win or lose. Well, I hate that statement because in a fact, yes, it's supposed to be fun and you want to enjoy it, so the kids enjoy it and want to come back and do it. But also, winning is fun. Losing is not fun. But teaching them to be able to lose makes them a better person in life because you're not always going to win at things in life.
You give them accomplishment.
You give them something to build off of. Like, oh, we lost. Okay, I'm going to get better. I'm going to improve on this, this, and this.
Exactly.
It's the same thing within school. You're not going to pass every test. You're going to fail. You're going to have to get better.
Right.
Those are life lessons at a young age you want to ingrain in kids, not where they think that everything is supposed to be handed to them and they win. That's what a lot of stuff with these sports I've noticed has changed too. Which I think why some parents are so competitive and obsessed with. They're like, what the fuck's going on? Like, we didn't teach this when we were kids. Now, on the flip side, you got a lot of coaches that are like that, and that's ruined a lot of kids in competitive sports as well, as why I think there's a lot of that shit going on too. Right. Now, does every parent think their kid's the best? Yes.
Of course.
I think that's just unspoken. Does every kid think their kid that plays on upper teams has a chance of doing something? I would say yes. I think that's a true statement. Everybody thinks their kid's special and does whatever. Now, do I think Mike is unspecial? Yes, I do. Do I think he's the best in the team when he plays on? No. I'm not. I'm a realist. I'm not fucking stupid. I've been around the sport long enough to know that my son's not the best. But do I realize that being on the best in the team is a great thing or a bad thing? It's actually a bad thing because then you have no one else drive to be competitive to get better. Being the middle of the pack or not the best or whatever gives you something to work towards and makes you a better player because I wasn't always the best until I got older. Me and my buddy became the best players in the team, and it kind of gave me an ego where I didn't realize that I had an ego, because you're young.
Right.
So I don't want that for my son, but also watching my kid play, it's not me saying this. It's other people coming up telling me. It's like they're coming up and telling me like, wow, your son's really good or whatever, blah, blah. And it's great hearing. But I like hearing it as a compliment, and I like telling it to my son, but I don't ever tell it to him. I want him to continue to say, like, I tell him, like, dude, you suck. Like, you got to get better.
Yeah.
Like, I want to give him bullshit to make him want to play harder and do stuff. But I also want to make it fun. Like, you're going out there and scoring 5 goals. Great. You had fun today? Awesome. Now you need to go back and put the work in because you got to work on X, Y, and Z or whatever.
Right.
So
it's always going to be someone better. Yeah.
Correct. And that's just the way you have to look at it in life.
If you ain't first, you're last.
Yeah. So, like, am I that parent that says, oh, I think my kid's going to be an NHL pro? No. Do I want him to be? Yes.
Fuck yeah.
Am I going to give him all the tools and resources to get there? Yes. If he gets there, great. If he doesn't, great. Like, I'm always going to be supportive in that way. So I think that's the difference from the youth sports. There's a lot of crazy parents that think their kids are a lot better than what they really are. Yeah. And then there's people that are very humbly and realist like myself that are like, okay, well, I know my son's good, but I know he's not the best out there. But I also want him to be the best player, and I'm going to help him get there. And there's all those other parents that are just delusional that their kids suck, and they'll bully their kids on the teams because they know somebody or they know the coach or it's politics. And you're always going to have that with youth sports, and I think probably in anything. It could be like music. It could be like that with everything. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Now this is just piggybacks off of this. So what I've noticed and observed as well is parents get upset and jealous of other kids' success in sports.
Yes.
So what I've noticed is now this isn't me being over observant, over analyzing things because I tend to do that because I have my OCD and all my shit. But one of my buddies that I coach with, him and my son started out the same thing, but he's a little bit older. He's about a year older than my son, and my son has surpassed him like double. Right, in my opinion. I don't tell him that. I tell him they're both great players and they're both whatever, but it's obvious or whatever. But since it's happened and since Lincoln's made these other teams or whatever, he's been more reserved. Like, he doesn't like any of my posts on Facebook. Now, this is stupid when he used to all the time. Like, if I post something on Lincoln, he'll never like it.
Yeah.
Like, he's mad at the world because his son's not doing that. But then he'll tell me, like, your son's so good. Like, when I talk to him, he's like, man, he's already better than my son.
Being two-faced, yeah.
Yeah, and he's being an asshole about it or whatever. And it's like, I praise his son when he does stuff. He doesn't give him any praise. And it's like, but other kids that are on Facebook, I see that are from different teams or whatever, he likes it and gives them praise. I'm like, dude, you're one of his coaches. Like, you should be saying these nice things to him. Now, I don't say anything to him, But I don't forget those kind of things.
Yeah.
So I told my wife, she's like, well, what do you think it is? I'm like, he's just jealous. It's one of those things that's a sign of jealousy that his son's not doing as well. So I'm not going to give his son any more praise or do anything because he probably gets it from everybody else. And it's like, cool, dude, like you're being one of those stereotypical parents that I don't want to be. Like, I don't want my son seeing that. I don't want my son going around like, my dad says you suck or whatever behind closed doors. Like, I don't want to be that guy.
Right.
You know, I want to teach my son good sportsmanship, but also I've noticed too that there's other people in sports that their kids, like, they just don't like that your kid's successful and they get jealous or whatever. And it's nothing that I'm doing to make him better. It's like we just put the work in together and we do it as, you know, he doesn't do that with his son. So that's the difference. That's what I've noticed. It's like I'm putting in the work, he's not putting in the work. In the story, I didn't know parents were that catty and that weird about that kind of stuff, but they are. So and then you get the other parents who are like, they come over and say nice things to you or whatever, and you're not expecting that. Yeah. They do it out of nowhere, like, hey, that was nice. I wasn't expecting that. And I also do it in the verse to other kids' parents when they make great plays or do stuff because that's what you're supposed to do as a parent when you have friends and people around the kids and team. That's it. That was my rant about the kids thing. I don't know. I wanted to get that off my chest because it bothers me so much. But I think that's everybody in every sport, you know. And I'm now on the other end of the spectrum. Like when I was a kid, we didn't hear any of that stuff. Now as a parent, you hear it all the time. Yeah. You know, that's it.
Well, that's what, you know, being a grown-up
being observant. What do you think about that kind of stuff?
Being a grown-up, wise, I see that a lot of parents are just assholes, like you said.
Mm-hmm.
You know, they want their kid to be the best, and when their kid's not the best, they're like, you know, they hate the world.
Mm-hmm.
It's not the kids' fault exactly all the way because it could be the coaching, it could be it could be the referee. You know, it could be the parents at home.
Yeah, I think
you never know if you're right before a game, you tell little Johnny to go, you know, he's a little shithead, he's this, that, and then you're going to take his cat away, that kind of stuff. Johnny's not going to fucking perform very well during the game because he doesn't have that motivation.
Right. Also, sometimes these parents, they go out there and they think that they're playing for their kids. Like, you're not out there playing, bud. Like, your kid is. Just let them go out there and play.
You want to do better, get out there.
Yeah.
You know, I bet you my son can skate around.
We've had one parent. Did I tell this in the podcast or not? I'm going to tell it again anyway. Is we had a parent come over and yell at me and my buddy when we were coaching because the kids went in overtime. And they put their best players out. And this is what you do. We were teaching the kids to win.
That's how you win.
Right? So we put our best players out. That at the time, but we actually didn't put our best players out because I didn't put my son out and we didn't put his son out and someone else. This was when they were about a year ago when they were considered the best players on the team or whatever.
Yeah.
And when we put them out, we actually sat our kids entire overtime, but we put the other kids that were better than them out and that are older. They played and we won. He came over and bitched because we took his son off the rink because he only got to play like the last minute of the game. And we usually give everybody like a minute 30, 2 minutes in the game. He's like, you pulled them off, whatever. And he punched my friend in the face over it. And I told him right there, I was like, look, man, if you don't like the way we coach, you're more than welcome to go over there and open up a team and coach the way you see fit. Like we were teaching the kids, like we're putting the best players out there against the best players and matching them up because that's what you do in sports. You match out the best against the best and the second lines, third lines, whatever. And we end up winning the game. We're teaching kids how to win. And that's what we wanted to do. He's like, yeah, well, this is about, this is youth sports about winning. And it's not about winning. It's about having fun and letting the kids time to play. It's like, dude, we just played a full game. Your son played more than enough. Sorry. Like, I was cordial about it. And then my other coach was like, I don't know what the fuck you're getting mad about. And he got angry about it and then started a whole fight. And I was like, you look like a jackass. And their kid hasn't been back, and he hasn't been back since that happened. Good. So that was a life lesson, learning that.
Sorry for the kid, but, Dad, fuck you.
Yeah, you feel bad for the kid. So, man, I think someone said this best, and then I'll shut up about the youth sports thing. And if you want to elaborate anything you've seen with my son or anything else going on, whatever, you can say whatever. But this guy that's a coach, said over the last 30 years, I've made an observation that a lot of players don't get cut. They cut the parents.
Yeah.
That's because that's a true statement. He's like, and I feel bad for the kids because the kids are great kids, but
their parents are assholes.
Everybody can't stand the parents, and the coaches can't deal with them. So it's like, sorry, you've literally ruined this for your son because you're a piece of shit.
Yeah, I know. So I know firsthand of a soccer coach that cuts kids' times down because their parents are assholes.
Mm-hmm.
It's the coach's right to do that if they want to.
Yeah. What I've learned is if the coaches are hard on the kid, this guy made a great statement. He said, let the coaches coach. And you go home and you be their support system. You don't need a coach for them. Like, you can say and give them tips.
Coach, let the parents be parents.
Exactly. Let you be their support system. And if we have to do something, let us do it. And don't think it's because we hate the kid or whatever else. We're trying to teach them something.
Exactly. Like
Lincoln got sat at practice the other day. He had to sit for 20 minutes while they got to do breakaways and do the fun stuff at the end.
Shit.
Because he skipped out on a drill. Like, they were doing like a little contest, like whoever did this first, like a relay race, or whatever, and won it 3 times in a row. The other team had to skate laps.
Yeah.
So at the end, he was skating the laps, and instead of doing a full stop at the end, he curled and then stopped, and the coach caught him, and he's like, "Lincoln, go sit in the fucking bench for 20 minutes."
Yeah, because he didn't listen.
And he made him sit there on the bench and watch. And I said, "Hey, was it fun with your ass sitting on the bench watching everybody else have fun? No, well, don't do it again, right? What was your lesson? I'm gonna finish it out." I said, even if you don't go as hard as everybody else, finish the drill, and that's all the coach asked him. He wants to know that you're listening to him. He's like, "But I was tired." Doesn't matter. Like, it's just a life lesson, bud. He wasn't trying to kill you. It was part of the exercise and what you guys were doing. Guess what? Since then, his ass has been in line ever since then. Because nobody wants to ride the pine in any sport, right? Or anything. You want to be included, not excluded. So,
exactly.
And did I say anything to the coach? No. I thought it was good for him. Lincoln was mad at me. He's like, "Are you mad at me?" I'm like, "No, I'm just disappointed because what you did." He's like, "Disappointed? Does he really know what that means?" No. I just said, I'm not mad, I'm upset, but it's like, I hope you learn a valuable lesson today. Yeah, he's 6, so it's like, do you think he's going to learn anything? No, he's a kid.
Right.
But if he does that enough, I think it will help. But most of these kids are like that. They want to be out there. They're competitive. So my rant's over with. Anything else you observed or anything you've seen with Lincoln? I mean, when I post stuff on there, am I saying anything out of line on Facebook or whatever? No. I'm just posting nice things about my kid, right?
Yeah, as you should.
I want my family and friends to see it. That actually I care about. The people that I don't care, I just remove them. I don't give a shit, you know? So.
That's when you send them to me, and I'll take care of them.
Huh?
That's when you send them to me, and I'll take care of them.
Yep, I'll send them to you. Big Hoss.
There's a hoss.
Big Boss. Big Val.
Do you have anything else in yours? Other thing?
Yeah. So predictions for 2025. Go.
That was one we wanted.
What was it?
Predictions.
What are some things you want to see in 2025? What are your predictions for 2025? And do you have any 2025 like resolutions, anything like that? Like same shit we did last year. Any predictions that's going to happen?
Prediction wise, I don't want to get. I'm not going to talk about politics because I could get 2 shits about it.
Okay, politics.
So nothing with that.
Okay.
20 minutes with that. That is a good question. I could see a lot of celebrities getting more in trouble with like scandals and stuff like that, like sexual scandals and stuff like that. Because all these people now are coming out of the woodwork and saying that, so and so touched me and what have you. So I could see that a lot of that happening.
Touch me, Elmo.
Exactly. A lot of people I could see celebrity wise, especially doing drug overdoses and stuff, because a lot of drugs are getting like more hardcore now, and less people are controlling them, so to say. Their other handlers are not watching them, like Matthew Perry or whoever that was that fell or fucked himself up. And I see a lot of shows, because it's already starting now. A lot of shows and movies bringing back their cash cows from the 80s and 90s.
Like what?
Like I literally saw a trailer before you walked in the door. I was going to send it to you. There is going to be a new Karate Kid movie.
Oh, fuck. Please.
It's called Legacy. Guess who's in it?
A black guy.
No. Ralph Macchio.
Yeah,
which is cool.
Yeah, I assume Ralph Macchio. I was just making shit up.
And Jackie Chan.
Is he the sensei or master, or is he not supposed to be?
They both are.
They teach each other?
I never saw the new Jackie Chan one with Jaden Smith, but he's apparently he's a friend of Mr. Miyagi, and he's supposed to be teaching his trainee, which is another Asian kid, to do karate, and that's what Ralph Macchio comes in to be Mr. Miyagi, so to say. I was like, oh God. Really, it's just I see a lot of nostalgic movies or whatever coming back.
Okay, well, but isn't that kind of a given at the end of the day?
Given, but it's been more prevalent in the last 4 or 5 years than it has been, because apparently because all these nostalgic people are the ones that are writing this shit. They're not relying on, because nobody's come up with original idea anymore.
That's true.
I've been saying this for years and years, that there are no more original movies. And now with them bringing back like nostalgic stuff, it's like, okay, if you bring it, my opinion is if you bring it back, don't make it a carbon copy. Make it a new nostalgic, so to say.
Right.
Like I don't want to see He-Man battle Skeletor. I want to see He-Man battle somebody else, somebody new, that kind of thing. Or, just keep the same premise in a way, kind of like a reboot. Keep it the same premise in a way, but change it. Don't make it the same fucking 5 things that happened in the last movie.
Yeah. Yeah, if you're just going to make a carbon copy, just call it what you're going to call it as carbon copy. If you're going to make it the same movie but with a twist and some other stuff they added out or left out from other movies, then do that. Or bring in another villain or do whatever else you want to do. Like, do something different that was different from the first one.
Like Saw. Don't make it Jigsaw. Make it somebody else. That kind of shit.
Yeah, like Jacksaw.
Yeah, exactly. I was going to say something else, but we can't say it. It rhymes with Jigsaw.
Yeah. What about for your, not just predictions, what about for your...
resolutions?
Yeah, resolutions. Anything?
I always say I want to lose weight, so that's always going to be the top priority. And clear my head. Get the shit I need to get out of my head. And
little head or big head?
Yes.
Both.
Yes. Basically, my do it like a therapy thing that I've been talking about last couple of weeks. Go to therapy and get shit off my mind.
Are you going to therapy now?
Not yet. I've signed up for it. I just have to pick my doctor.
Online or virtual?
Either it's a virtual or they're going to call me. I can't remember.
Probably do virtual. A lot of people do virtual now because they can do more patients quicker and do.
Some of the people that they gave me of the problems I listed. They gave me a list of 10 people to choose from. One dude, I'm like, fuck to the no. I don't want this guy. He's got a cowboy hat on. He's all like fucking Roy Rogers up. I'm like, no, not this guy. This guy, no.
I'll be honest, and this is weird as it comes down to. I've read some things about it, and I'm very particular about stuff. I wouldn't want to talk to a dude. I'd want to talk to a woman.
That's how I am. That's what with my primary care doctor. She's a female. Yeah, I'd rather hear things from her than a guy.
I've always been that way. Besides my other primary care, he's a guy. Which guys understand guys, girls understand girls in certain things, right? Now, talking to a guy, if I want to talk guy talk, I would want, if I had something that was specific in guy talk, I'd want to talk to a therapist that's a guy.
Of course.
But for most things, I think women are more understanding when you talk to them than men, and I think, but that's
it's just their job.
It's subjective or whatever. But I think I have a better time opening up to talk to a woman than I would a man because I feel like they're kind of more.
They won't judge you as much.
Yeah, I think that's whatever. Like my dad used to go to therapy. I think he finally just stopped going to it.
Yeah.
But for the longest time, I just wanted to go to therapy just to talk to somebody. Just because I don't talk and open up to my wife as much or my friends. I mean, I open up to you and my mom and dad once in a while, but
it's not the same.
The reason why it's good, and I told this to my buddy Sam, the one that committed suicide or whatever, and I hate this, and I wish he would have went, is because you're going to a judge-free zone. They don't know you. They know nothing about you. There's no judgment, and they don't care. It's their job to listen and understand and give you advice and just listen to you vent for an hour or two. No matter what it is. You just talk about whatever. It doesn't matter what you talk about.
Like I tell people anybody new that I meet that I play my shrink role all the time like I always do. I say strangers make the best listeners because they don't know you. They can't judge you. They don't know people. They don't know nothing. They are a complete blank slate with you.
Yeah.
So strangers will make the best listeners.
Someone said to me too, they're like, well, would you want your therapist to be attractive or not attractive? It's like, well, I'd rather have something to look at that's actually attractive. It's like, I don't want to look at some gross old person and talk to them. It's like, I want to look at someone that's more like my age or something like that or around my age. They say, why? I said, I don't know. I just feel more comfortable. Yeah. Plus, I like men like looking at attractive women, so that always helps. But I don't know if there's really attractive therapists. I don't fucking know. I've never been to a therapist, so I have no idea.
Right. But but Roy Rogers, I don't want
to. No, you want something. You want to find something that fits you and you're comfortable with, right?
Right, exactly.
That's it.
Yeah.
So I during COVID, that's like when the virtual therapist started becoming a big thing.
They were a lot big thing.
Talk about stuff that's going on. They give you advice or whatever, and whatever. And I think they're a good thing, dude. I think that people.
I mean, when I had pink eye one time, and I had I couldn't get into the doctor like fast enough because obviously pink eye is something you want to grab right then and there. I just had a very bad eye irritation, and then I virtually called the doctor one time, and he's like, "Oh yeah, you got pink eye and everything." It was like so cool to me because that was before all this video calls and shit blew up after COVID. This was before that, and I was just like, "Wow, this is fucking cool technology. They need to do this more often."
Yep.
And now it's like everywhere.
Yep.
It's almost like recommended for some companies to have virtual calls and what have you.
Well, because the turnover is quicker, and you don't have to run around and meet people.
You meet everybody in the same spot.
You can meet people. Yeah, and the time frames are easier. They can meet you from your phone or wherever you're at. They don't have to go virtually, physically go sit somewhere.
Right.
So, that's good, man. I hope you do that. Let me know how that works out.
Yeah, definitely.
So my prediction for 2025 are Well, this is me just being more positive and everything that for this year is
good.
And hopefully, I don't know if it's holistic or whatever you want to call it, but I want I think things in the world are going to get better first. I
really hope so.
I think the economy is going to start getting better. Jobs will get better. I don't know what the food or gas. I don't know how controllable that is, but I think it will go down some. I don't think it's going to go down as much as we hope. I think gas will. I don't think food will. I think food's the hardest thing to control and do stuff.
It's already up.
Right. This isn't me getting political. This means real else. I think Trump was going to do way better than Biden. I think he's actually going to fix things that need to be fixed in America first. That we've been wanting to get fixed, like closing the borders and doing things that need to do for protection and blah 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 blah, and all the shit that people want, right, for schooling and everything else. So, yeah, the rant about that is I think he'll do a better job, get things done in the economy that we've been needing, which will make our quality of life better, which is all I want. I don't give a fuck about, all the other stuff. And so I think that's going to happen. I think it's going to be a slow burn. It's not going to happen fucking right away, but it's going to happen.
He's got 4 years, so.
Yeah, 4 years, like every president.
Well, hopefully. 4 years.
Yeah. Oh, shit. Yeah, if he doesn't assassinate.
Like every president.
Yeah.
Don't say that word.
Yeah. What's the other thing I was thinking about? I hope my work gets better. I hope I get promoted. Like that's what I'm going to be working on next year to make more money. Like everybody, I want more money.
Yeah. It's American dream.
American dream. Continue to stay healthy. Definitely get back in the gym, workout. I've literally been a hiatus from the gym. Like I just don't go to the gym anymore. I don't care about the gym anymore. Like I just don't have a love or passion like I used to. Like I want to go to the gym, work out. Like just don't care. I tried to do it last year. I went to the gym maybe, I'd say in the last 12 months, I've been in the gym probably 15 or 20 times. And I went like twice or like in a week or once 1 week and the next week. And I would just fall off and go back to my old ways. And I still walk every day and I still play hockey, but
that's not working out.
It's
that's
just different.
Working your legs.
Yeah. Well, no, you work your whole body out and doing other stuff, but you know what I'm saying? It's a different type of workout. I just to make myself feel better and continue to stay healthy on my health track. So that's something I want to continue to do for that. Go back to predictions though. I think movies are continuing to get better. I think people, like you said, are still continue to go to the movies. I think the movies are starting to become a more valuable thing in society where people need for escapism again. So I think that's going to happen. I hope streaming services get better. I hope they continue to get better and not get worse. What else? For 2025, I think we will see some type of craziness with the stock market or just things in the world where like housing prices are going to crash and car prices are going to crash and they're going to go back down because I don't think the interest rates and everything are going to stay up forever. So that's old man wisdom right there and hopefully wishful thinking, but I think it's going to happen gradually. I don't know. In just 2025, I just hope it's a better year for everybody, everybody, not just myself, but, friends, family and stuff included. Right. I guess for my, what I want to do for New Year's resolutions, I want to continue doing what I'm doing now. I think my life's going to get busier than it was fucking this year. I think it's just more activities. Kids are getting older. Gonna have 2 girlfriends this year instead of just a wife, so I can have some side action. Side piece.
2 piece and a biscuit, baby.
Yeah. No, I'm just joking. But for real, I don't know. I want to focus more on myself, making myself happy. Just the normal things that everybody wants.
Don't cut yourself.
I'm not going to. And I think I don't want to be more selfish. I just want to take more time to have a little bit more fun for myself, do more things for myself.
You want to live.
You want to live. Yeah. You want to live. And I don't want to be so wrapped up in like just the mundane bullshit. Like I miss like having little side projects of myself to work on like things I want to do, like hanging my Funkos in my room and putting up lights and doing like things that make me happy. I mean, that sounds stupid and small and gay, but that little small stupid thing brings a lot of happiness to me more than just like, going outside and working on my yard or keeping my pool clean or doing stuff like that. It's like, that's the shit I don't want to do, but it has to get done, because I'm an adult. And more sex, that's something in 2025. You always want more. Huh?
It's always up to you, though.
No, it's not. It's always up to the wardens in the world. Exactly. Old balls and chains.
Old balls and chains.
Yeah, so predictions, I think things are just going to get better. I think 2025 is going to be a good year. I think we've had a last hard 4 years for everybody. I think it's mentally broken a lot of people. And that's what I think. I think things are going to get better. Something that's been surreal too, though, I've noticed is it's been frustrating this year. And I'll just bring this up back from earlier. What we're talking about is Dude, it's hard watching your parents grow up or just people in general and then become more
Independent on you, dependent on you.
yeah, dependent on you and just like more of like a hardship than actually being like easy. Like my parents always got like things going on and they're always complaining about shit and stuff. And we got a lot of shit going on with family stuff also, but I think it's every family. They always got their trials and tribulations. But I think that's weighed on me more heavily this year than it has before. It's like I'm trying to keep my parents happy, but also trying to do things for them. But also like they're annoying. I don't want to be around them all the time because they expect too much out of me.
Yeah, I was gonna say you've done it for so long now that they're gonna keep expecting it. You know, they tell you not to do that with people, but they're doing it to you.
Yeah, like my example, I'll just example like my mom and dad would be like, well, I was like, oh, I'm going to Tim's house to help him do X, Y, and Z. Like, well, you need to come to my house and help me do X, Y, and Z. It's like, you guys
I always do.
I know. So I told him, I'm like, you guys are able-bodied. Like, do it your fucking self. Well, I don't know how to do it, babe, and I don't want you to do this, this, and this. And it's like, that just sounds like laziness to me at the end of the day. Like, it pisses me off that they say that shit to me. But at the same time, they're my parents. I get it. And there's a lot of things they don't know how to do or they can't do because my mom's got a bad knee now. And it's like, I can't remember. Like, my mom and dad are getting older.
Right.
And they're getting forgetful.
But don't forget, though, too, not just to what's the word? Put fire on the or grass on the fire. There's still Ashley and Sarah, too. They can they can help, too.
Yeah, I know. It goes full circle with that. I've said that. I've already said that. Like Ashley and Sarah can help out too. But what I meant is, it's hard.
Don't burn yourself out. Basically.
Yeah. It's hard watching your parents go through things and struggle. Like I love talking to my parents. Love talking about stuff. But like my mom and dad are getting so set in their ways and their age. They're just starting to become like just different. I don't know how to explain it. Like they're just getting old.
They're slowing down. They're slowing down.
They're getting forgetful. Yeah. They're getting less
dependent.
Yes, more dependent and less independent. We'll just put it that. I'll just sum it up right there. And that's hard watching, but also, it's just. I think that's just part of life. That's part of life, right?
Yeah. Not just your life, their life, your life.
Yeah, and
they took care of you for so long. Now it's your turn to take care of them.
Yeah, I don't want to. I don't have time for that. I'm joking. No, I don't mind doing it. It's just it's
tiresome because
it's tiresome.
It takes time out of your day. It takes your energy sometimes. Sometimes the most menial thing to you could not be the hardest thing for them.
Yeah, and
it's hard to see them struggle like that.
Yeah, and this isn't me being an asshole. This is just being something being observant. I'll bring this up. I mean, my mom and dad aren't going to listen to this podcast, so it doesn't really matter. My sister might one day or something like that, and they'd probably agree with me, and maybe my other sister doesn't. But this is just me being the outsider looking in. But it's like my mom and dad are so wrapped up in my sister's debacle with her daughter and all that stuff, whatever. Yeah. That consumes 99% of their life and day, which I get. Like they want their granddaughter back, and I want my niece back, and everything else too. And they're fighting this in court and blah blah blah, and whatever. Yeah. And my sister leans on them heavily for all this stuff, and I get it. I'd be in the same predicament if that was my kids or whatever, and I understand. But you still have 2 other children, other things go on, so it looks like sometimes you're leaving us out to dry. But at the same time, it's like, dude, you got to realize what my sister's going through. So it's like. Right. Sometimes that weighs on us too, and it's like I don't want to hear about that anymore. Like that's all we talk about. That's all we do. It's like we have other kids, we have other things going on in life. So I think that pisses me off, and my sister off a bunch. So now I just don't bring it up. I don't talk about it because it doesn't do anything good. So I let them tell me things are happening, which is the better way to do it. And that's the way my dad told me to approach it. But at the same time, this is something probably all families go through, right? With weird shit that's going on in their family. So I don't know. That's kind of put a strain on me. So I hope this year with that for prediction, I hope that gets better. Something positive and good happens so we can move on from it and go live on with our lives. And I hope May loses her house
and herself, and
all of her inheritance finally goes back to us kids.
I
would just something. I don't even care if it's all of it. Just give me partial. Pay off my school. Give me $100. Give me $100.
About 350.
Dude, there was a movie I was thinking about today, and I was like, you know what it was? And it was a movie. It was a one-liner part from the movie. Mm. He's like, did I hear a niner in that? Like, or whatever.
Yeah, what was Tommy Boy?
It's Tommy Boy, right?
Yeah.
He's
like, when he comes home, he's naming off
1, 2, or niner.
He's naming off a phone number that he's supposed to be called for David Spade.
Yeah.
He's like 524 niner, and then he repeats it.
David Spade goes, did I hear a niner in that?
Yeah. Like, shut up, Richard.
Yeah, that was good. God, I love that movie. That is such a good movie. That's a real movie between like friends that are comedians that are just fucking hilarious.
It's like the Steve Martin. It's just like Planes, Trains, and Automobiles.
Yeah.
But like a newer version. It's a good buddy comedy.
Yeah. What someone said was like, I wish they had all the bloopers there. They said, you wouldn't believe how many times David Spade and Chris Farley laughed, and we had to fucking retake all these things because they couldn't stop laughing. And the people in the background.
I know that you want to get talking about movies, right?
Yeah.
Now, but part of that was that they actually hated each other on set because they spent so much time together.
Yeah.
And then they let out their aggressions on the set.
Yeah, I heard that too, but I heard that like some of the shit was so funny. Like, you know, most comedy movies, like they just laugh at the dumbest shit and stuff. Like, you know, but I get that too. Like, you're around someone so much you want to vomit, but you get sick of each other. But yeah, they said the set was funny, but also not funny. But they said some of the shit they would say, like the people in the background, they just couldn't hold it in.
Yeah. It's kind of hard not to hold that stuff in.
Yeah.
It's just comedic gold shit.
Yeah.
It's the stuff that what I like about movies is when they get the natural, genuine reactions out of people, like outtakes that they use in actual movies because it was so. Hey, that's a great idea. I didn't think about that kind of the ad-libbing kind of
something
stuff.
always sticks in my brain. I don't know why. It's been like this in my brain since I've been a kid, probably since like a little bit older than my son's age. Is when Austin Powers came out. And there's that scene when he's on the airplane and he hits the button, the bed starts spinning. Yeah. And the girl's pissed off at him, turns around, looks at him, but then she turns around again. If you watch it closely, every time she turns around, she puts this giant smirk on her face and she has to hold in laughing because she said every time Mike Myers did that, she would just fucking die laughing. So she goes like this. She like looks at her and then she like puts her face on herself and puts it back in and acts like she has a face. They said that was the only outtake they got throughout the whole movie, her doing that where she didn't laugh. And it was genuine. You could tell she was trying to be funny and not laugh at him, but be mad at him. Like, so it was natural and organic. Like, it's like when you have a significant other or a sister or brother or anybody else that you're trying to make them laugh and try to change the subject or cheer them up, and they're like, look like they're mad, but they smile when they go back to looking mad. It was like, that was the whole point of their trying to catch that. But, you know, anyway, that's something that always sticks in my brain with that kind of stuff.
Yeah, I love the ad-libbing, the little things like that that make a movie better sometimes. Mm-hmm. It's just the littlest things that
it feels real.
It feels exactly
right. That's what you want. You want genuine stuff. You know when you watch a bad movie with some bad lines, you're like, see you at the softball place later when like they're jumping around with a dog, and you're watching like the fourth movie of Air Bud. You're like, who the fuck? I'm watching this with my kids now. I'm like, who greenlit this movie? Like, where'd they get this actor? Like the postman comes by and says that to you. Nobody says that to you, and it sounds so rehearsed and so like it doesn't sound organic at all. So like, those are kind of movies, but you have to laugh at because it's so bad at the same time. Like you said, like someone said, like they make some guys like he makes a whole year out of finding the worst movies to sit there and just watch and laugh at, and he gets enjoyment out of it. And it's like that's the way I should look at movies sometimes.
You should, but it's hard to.
It's hard to because you don't want to watch it. Like, God, this is so bad. I can't sit through this. You know. Right. So I don't know.
Yeah, it's one of those things.
Yeah. So final thoughts for we usually do final thoughts, folks. We're at the end of our podcast.
2024. Yeah,
dude. For final thoughts for 2024, I thought this was actually not as bad as the year I thought it was going to be. I thought it was a better year.
Better than I thought it was. Yeah.
I will, and I say this every year, but this was the fastest year of my life. Like every day just seemed like it was faster and faster and faster. I know, you old fuck. I just can't believe like Halloween's over, Thanksgiving's already here, and Thanksgiving was weird because it was on the last week of this year, and it wasn't because you usually get 2 weeks after it for it's before December, and you know what's surreal to me is like I can't believe my 30 days of PTO is almost up. Like, dude, it's the 18th. Like I was off the beginning week of Thanksgiving, and now it's the 18th, and I only got
a week left.
I got 2.5 weeks left. Okay. So I still got some time. Like I got till like January 4th or 5th, which is I'd say it's about 12, 13, 14, about 16 days. You know, whatever. If I count it up, maybe 17 days or something. My math might be a little off. It might be 17 days actually.
Still, it's just like wow.
It goes by faster than you think. Everyone's like, "Oh man, you're on PTO. It must be great." And it's like you would think, but it's like a day of PTO goes by super quick and it's over with, and you hate it. It's like imagine doing it in 30 days and you blink and it feels like it's been a week.
Yeah.
You know, and that's it. I haven't even got that much accomplished, which has been great. I've been sleeping and, huh?
Except for today.
Well, sorry, I don't sleep in. I've been taking naps. I've been lounging around more, playing a little bit of games.
Good.
Getting presents for the kids. Yeah. Doing the Elf on the Shelf stuff. Fucking with the kids with the Elf on the Shelf. I'm gonna have them call you here soon for Santa. So let me know. You gotta find your suit.
It's in there. I know that.
Yeah, it's probably in Jen's outfit.
It's in there actually.
It's your LARPing outfit. Where you live action role play with Jen. You LARP as Santa, and she's your little kid.
Throw my candy cane. Talk about the first thing. I had her sit on my lap. Talk about the first thing that pops up.
Yeah.
Oh, where's that to?
Bad Santa. But yeah, for my final thoughts, yeah, this year has been good. Had a lot of goods, had a lot of bad stuff happen as well, but more good than bad. I'll take the more good with the bad, and I'm looking forward to 2025 getting here, starting fresh, new, clean slate to see where it takes us. I'm sure my literally 9 to 5 will be consumed every single day, or my 24/7 will be my son in athletics, which I'm enjoying. Right. I really look forward to it. I really do. I'm not getting burned out at all. I'm sure one day I will, because I know it's gonna be short lived. Like, I didn't know if I told you this, but I have to do a coaching seminar to be a level 1 coach or whatever for 6-year AU. And if you don't do this by the end of the year, you can't be a coach, and you have to wait till next year to try to do it again. Wow. So I have to be on Monday, Wednesday, and Friday for 2.5 hours with 90 people on Zoom, and they make us do breakout sessions. Now, when I tell you this is fucking stupid, it's fucking stupid. And we go on these breakout sessions, we talk about like how it's like coaching at 6U and 8U and 10U at different levels, and what do you expect, and what do you remember from your youth days, and blah, blah, which is fine listening to them, but it's like, dude, I don't want to be in here for 2.5 hours talking to some random person all the way from Wisconsin or somewhere in Alaska.
Go ziplining.
Yeah, about ziplining. What's up, bro? And, and just and just talking to these people, like, it's a money grab. So there's 80 people online times 60. Imagine how much money it is, and they have one of these every week. They have a couple of these things going on. So I did realize there's 550,000 people that are enrolled in USA Hockey. It's kids and adults and whatever. And it's like, Jesus Christ, you guys fucking clean house with this kind of stuff. It's required to do all this stuff. But the reason I have to do the coaching is so I can coach next year, because I know eventually I won't be able to coach like when he gets older. And I don't want to, because I don't want him to be a crutch and be like dad showing favoritism or anything. Right. But I want to do it now and enjoy it and have fun. A different end of the spectrum. Do it while I can. So, final thoughts for all that stuff. Like, that's looking fun for next year. And then, I don't know, dude, just being happier, just trying to be happy. Like you said, try to be less negative. I've noticed when I was around a lot of negative people, that's all I talked and said was negative shit. Yeah. Now that I've been around less negative people, I don't think that way. I think more positive, or try to be more positive. I'm not always positive. I'm not perfect by any means.
You're trying more than before because you weren't trying.
Yeah, and things like that. So, yeah. What about you? What are final thoughts for this year?
I'm glad 24 is over. I mean, like I said, not a lot of bad shit happened, but the things that did weigh on me. But yeah, I'm looking for a new start at 25. I'm 45 now, and it's time to start living. Starting to,
You're not getting any younger.
Exactly.
Yeah. Something I said. So listen, my dad said this, and I think this is great, and I think you should take this advice as well. You're not getting any younger. You're only older. So enjoy your life now. Buy the things and do the things you want. Like, what I'm saying? Like, if there's something you really want and you don't got the money for it, fucking just buy it and do it. Who cares? You could die tomorrow and you would be pissed off you never got to enjoy this or do something. So now, like, I'm buying and doing things I don't care. Like, not really, but, like within my means. Yeah, but as I get older, like I told my dad, it's like, dude, if you want a car, go buy a car, Dad. You're 60 years old. You can't bring the car with you to the grave, and they can't make you pay for it, and your family pay for it when you're dead. So just buy it. And if you can't buy it and mom doesn't want it, she'll sell it when you die. Right. Boom, bam, done. Or whatever. So what's going on? So it's like, do things you want to do now, right? And I think that's what I was saying. Like, live your life. Don't let it pass you by. I think that's a good way to live out.
Do things now while you can before you can't.
Yeah, I think that's the other thing. It's like, everyone's like, oh, I'll do it when I'm retired. I'll do this when I'm retired. Well, health issues and other things come up when you're retired, and you never get to enjoy things and do it. So I'd say now, leave it on that note, kidsies and older folks and boomers and everybody else in America. Do things while you have the time to do it. Or if you even don't have the time, make time and figure out when you can do it.
Do the things you love the things you do.
Yes. That's a great ending quote for the wrap up.
For the end of the year.
End of the year.
No more this year.
Are you guys doing anything for New Year's?
I have no fucking clue.
I'm going to watch the Winter Classic with the Blues playing Blackhawks, which that would be cool.
That I know for sure I'm doing.
You watching that?
Yeah.
Yeah, and then I will probably, my buddy invited me over. See, this is something different. Some guy I play hockey with that has a kid, and my other kid, they have a couple other kids that Lincoln plays with. Most of the time I'd say no to this because I'm just closed-minded. I'm like, I want to sit at home and be a homebody, and I don't want to travel and do stuff. He lives about 45 minutes away, maybe an hour away. He's like, hey, come on over. You can watch the game, have a beer. Kids can hang out, do whatever. I might actually entertain it. Most of the time I'd say no because I don't give a fuck, and I have anxiety and everything else, and I overthink things. So I might actually do that for like a thing that I don't usually do. Yeah. Or not, or maybe come over here and we'll have a podcast for New Year's Eve podcast.
There you go. Well, watch the game.
while we watch the game, we can podcast and watch the game.
Yeah, or watch Orgasmo, then watch the game, then don't
Yeah.
podcast.
Yeah, I'm gonna watch that. I'm gonna try to watch that movie this week.
Me too.
Since I have my PlayStation hooked up downstairs, I bought the disc just so I can watch
you
it.
go.
Laura's like, "Why do we want the disc?"
That's the unrated version. It's got extra shit on it.
Does it really?
There's 2 sides to the DVD.
I'll be honest with you. I haven't watched Orgasmo in over 10 years. It's probably been.
I think the last time I watched it was at your house.
I was gonna say it might even be early 2000s that we watched it. That's the last time I ever watched it.
Yeah. I think that's the first time I ever heard about it.
Yeah, well, it's one of those things. I think I read it. And I was like, "What the fuck is this Orgasmo?" I saw Trey Parker, Matt's friend. I'm like, I gotta watch this. Like, it was one of their first movies, right? Or was it, or second or third
one
movie?
Of the first ones.
Or was it would the baseball happen first or Orgasmo?
I think basketball was first,
and then Orgasmo.
That or Cannibal the musical was first.
Okay,
I can't remember.
Yeah,
I know it wasn't this one.
Sure.
But yeah, that one's got. Be careful with the DVD. It's got 2 sides to it.
Mm-hmm.
So
backside's the other side of the extras.
Yeah. One side has 1 extras. The other side has more extras.
Okay.
And I think it's called like Menage a Trois, and then the other one's I think Orgy or something like that. Orgy's got the more shit, obviously.
Right.
So,
dude, they're so funny. Like the stuff they say and do are so great.
Just the most original shit they come up with.
You know what's funny too is at the end of the day, like they're really good like family people at the end of the day too. Like people don't think of them as being like good family guys. You know, they actually care about everything they do. Their family, like the Casa Bonita thing, changed my mind a lot more about them for like the public eye that people didn't realize how good of guys they really are.
Yeah.
I'm telling you right now, like one day we have to go to Casa Bonita. I told Laura, I said, if we ever go to Colorado, because her brother lives there, I said, I am making it, I don't care if it's an hour drive or not, I'm fucking driving down there and we're going to go do there. And she goes, why? I said, because we'll never get to do it. It could close tomorrow. And I want to go down there and like, dive, asshole, dive. I want to do all the shit that Cartman did. I want to go through, go through Black Bar's Cave, and I want to eat tapapillas, whatever he says on the table, whatever, and going through and I want to watch the puppet show, and I want to see all the stuff that he got to experience, and maybe it'd be cool for Lincoln and the kids to see too.
Right.
You know, so I can say, hey, we got to go there, and this is part of the South Park episode. It is really. If you watched the whole episode, you had to catch me.
Yeah, so sure you did.
That's right, you did see it before me. I've watched it twice now because it's on Plex, and second time, you know, you're not expecting, but some of the shit they did, like I can't believe, like
they voiced all the things in the cave.
Yes, I knew they're gonna.
I thought that was great when I saw that. I'm like, oh shit, they are really very much involved with it.
Yeah, I knew they were gonna do it. One thing I didn't know after watching all that, they said that even that sucked. They said they still rather never do another puppet movie over what they had to do with Casablanca or any other place. They said it was the worst thing they've ever done, and yeah, we'll leave it at that. So
yeah,
your mom, huh?
Yep. See how things are.
Yep. So final wrap up, folks. That's it. That's our final wrap up for the next year. Hopefully things are better. Hopefully,
for all of us.
Huh?
For all of us.
For all of us. Hopefully they make some new shows. Simpsons is canceled. If anybody didn't know.
No, it's not.
According to clickbait articles, which, real quick, I cannot stand how. I mean, I should do some more research, but most of the time when you see that stuff, it was on Twitter too. I saw. So most of the time I see stuff on Twitter, it's usually pretty good. Now, Facebook, I don't take for stuff like people post like, "Oh, the Blues are going to trade this person." It's some person that wants engagement on something.
If
you know?
actually read it, the actual episode was called Series Finale because they were ending a lot of things.
Okay.
That and it's also a tongue-in-cheek kind of joke is because
they know people want. They're like, "You guys are going to end it."
Last year they signed on for 36 seasons. They just started the 36th season.
Okay.
So basically, when they did that episode, they were saying that was it because that was supposed to be that was before they renewed it. So that's why they little tongue-in-cheek kind of joke with it. So yeah, that's why it's called Series Finale.
Yeah.
And like I said, they're in the game and stuff like that, so people think they're, they are leaving, but they're not. So I went on record and saying that.
Yeah.
So
that's cool. I mean, I didn't know that. I mean, I do.
That's why I say click this shit before you send it to me. You give me a heart attack.
Well, you don't even watch fucking Simpsons, so why does it matter?
I love the Simpsons. What are you talking about?
I know it's your favorite.
I haven't watched it in a while.
I know the Simpsons is like South Park to me. So.
No, well, yeah,
Or Beavis and Butthead. Did you like the Beavis and Butthead thing?
I love the Beavis and Butthead thing.
From Dexter?
Yeah.
I thought that was cool, dude, because everyone's like, oh, Masuka, where'd you get that laugh? Or whatever. Spoiler, if you guys didn't know this. Masuka from Dexter has a really, like, keen laugh or laugh that's really noticeable, and he said he developed it from a friend or something that used to do it, and then he took it from Beavis and Butthead from Friends or whatever, because that's how they used to laugh. And I'm like, that makes sense, and it sounds just like it. Yeah. So with have you watched the new Dexter yet?
Not yet.
All right, so I got on Plex. Watch it.
I saw it.
I'm not going to ruin it or say anything to anybody else. But I will say one thing, which this doesn't
keep saying one more thing.
Yeah, I'm sorry. I just love talking to you. Faggot. And
oh, he says that on the YouTube.
Not gonna get banned because that's a cigarette.
No, that's fag. Faggot. There's a difference.
I'm providing context.
In game.
The Dexter, two things. One, this is the prequel.
Yeah.
And then after this, he's got another show he's already recording. So after what is it called? Final Blood or Blood, whatever the hell it's called.
New Blood or something like that.
New Blood. It's still leading off from New Blood.
Cool.
Which is good for the fans. I'm not going to say whatever happens. You'll find when you watch the show. But the good thing about this, all the casting is perfect.
Yeah.
They all look and talk and act.
The only person that's still the same is Batista. The Mexican guy.
What do you mean?
The cop.
They're all the same.
I thought.
There's LaGuardia. There's Batista.
No. I'm just saying the same guy that played him is the same guy that played Batista.
No.
Is it?
Nope. There's a younger guy. Nope.
Oh.
Batista's so old, you would tell right away. No.
Okay.
He looks and acts. It could be a son, maybe.
Yeah.
It could be a son or something, a relative or something like that. I didn't get that, but like,
okay.
The casting is very good. The guy who plays Dexter, you couldn't get a better fucking guy to play Dexter.
Yeah,
like he looks, acts, his mannerisms, or everything. Now it's cool that Michael C. Hall narrates in the third person, his inner monologue, whatever you want to call it. And the one thing I will say, the director is the old director from the original Dexter, so he's over it with Michael C. Hall. Right. It feels, acts, the songs, everything. It is Dexter to a T, and they're following the traditional Dexter way, not like New Blood at all, because they couldn't really. Right. I mean, they couldn't, but. This one, if you're a Dexter fan, highly recommend it. Go watch it. I've already watched the show. I've already watched it 3 times because there's things I wanted to see and if I missed or whatever. Right. And they're following the show to a T. So that's all I'm going to say. That I won't say anything else. So anybody that's a super fan or new fan, if you haven't watched it, go watch the original episodes and then you have to watch it. And it's in the New Blood and go back to the prequel to go back to no one, which is weird, but it's kind of cool how time hops around. Like we talked about with sequels and prequels. Yeah. It's kind of, this prequel is actually a really good prequel because most prequels suck.
Right.
It's just what it is. And most sequels do suck, but they're most of the time I'd say it's 50-50 with sequels. Prequels, they usually never get it right.
Exactly.
So that's it, boys and girls.
Stay scared always.
Stay scared. Don't stay scared, as I always like to say.
Stay off drugs.
Stay off drugs. Drink your milk. Get your protein and your protein. Besides that, have a good Happy New Year. Like and subscribe. Send Tim memes.
Tell your friends.
Tell your friends.
Don't tell your parents.
And give some feedback if you like this podcast, because nobody likes our podcast. People, here's a weird thing too, and I'll end it. We get a lot. We've been getting a lot more views on our podcast, and I don't know if that's just us looking at our podcast or not, or people are looking at it or whatever. But we never get any comments or anything, so I don't know if anybody's ever really listened to it. So if anybody does, just tell us if we're good, suck,
we'll pay you. No.
We'll pay you. We'll get bots in there to say things. So
Randall, bend over and take up the ass for you.
Randall Graves.
Yes.
Randall Graves.
Cool.
All right. See you, kiddies.
Laters.